1959, the world had never seen anything like it. Traveling nearly 40 miles an hour faster than ever before, those first trial laps were a sometimes treacherous step into the unknown. Nearly 42,000 spectators gazed in awe at the start of the first Daytona 500. But much of the history of Daytona and of NASCAR was born of the July Classic they used to call the Firecracker. It was at her debut that Joe Weatherly fathered the concept of drafting. She witnessed the birth of the sport's first superstars. She watched as a president honored a king in his grandest moment. And she held her breath as legends risked all for the right to enter her history books. Tonight, we bear witness to another chapter in the history of Daytona as NASCAR's crown jewel gleams in the Florida night for the first time. This evening, the celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary continues as TNN Motorsports is proud to present Daytona at the speed of light.
This is not normal Saturday night racing. This is racing under the lights at Daytona. 3.5 million watts of power lighting up a 2.5-mile racetrack. Now, the drivers have tested here. They're ready to go. They say they love it. But there's going to be some pressure. Pressure on these guys. They're the spotters. Their job is to tell the driver when it's safe to move up on the track, safe to move down low, safe to pass, safe to get back in line. One mistake on their part or a mistake on the part of the drivers behind the wheels, when you're racing at Daytona with restrictor plates, you could have big trouble.
There's nothing you do about it. You're just out there riding.
Especially at Daytona, you see guys go 3 wide, you kind of tense up. You know, you're like, oh, no, please don't do that.
You know, you're praying that you can get out of the racetrack or the racing line.
And there was big trouble last weekend at Talladega. Ernie Irvan into the wall hard. Mark Martin's championship hopes took a severe blow as he was involved in that melee. Now, if you can avoid the big one and get to the front, then you have to have partners. You have to make a deal.
When it comes right down there to the end, you need a partner out there.
Actually, Todd and Mike talked Saturday night, and then Mike and I talked on Sunday. We just saw each other right before the race.
There's different guys in the pack that are comfortable working with you, or you're comfortable working with them, that you'll work with through the race.
Try to work with that person as long as you can until it comes time to win.
Well, the end result of that deal is to try to get here in victory lane. But if you don't have the right partner, it's usually no deal. You gotta have help. You want to deal with a teammate if you got one. If not, at least a driver who drives the same make car that you do. But sometimes, like last week with Dale Jarrett and Mike Skinner at Talladega, it's an unlikely alliance. But no matter who you deal with, it doesn't matter. At the end, what it all boils down to is that it's every man for himself. All deals are off in the final 5 laps. And the reason why? It's a single-lane road here into victory lane. You cannot bring that partner with you.
The Pepsi 400, a July 4th holiday tradition, moved to October due to Florida's midsummer wildfires. But tonight, with a state-of-the-art lighting system illuminating the night sky, there is a holiday feel to Daytona International Speedway as we are just 12 minutes away from the green flag. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World Center of Racing. Eli Gold, Dick Berggren, and Buddy Baker. You know, ever since this race was postponed back in July, everybody's been looking to this stretch of the schedule. Unprecedented 2 restrictor plate races back-to-back. Last week, lap 137, a major accident at Talladega. Some teams have been able to rebuild their cars. Others have junked them. They're starting over. You know the story of Ernie Irvan. He hasn't been in the car much, but he's here ready to go racing tonight with Ricky Craven having done all the work this weekend. Last weekend, the Thunderbirds were a story. There were 5 of them. 2 finished in the top 10. 4 T-Birds going racing tonight. And everybody's run here at Daytona. Experience isn't a problem, but it is something new under the lights and the shadows and all of the glare that maybe or maybe not could be a storyline as this evening continues. And Buddy Baker, that's where you come in. 19 top 5s here. You've won a couple of races here. Is everybody starting at square one again, or does experience matter?
I think experience matters when you go to Daytona or Talladega. You have to know how to drive. But one thing to keep in mind, there are so many questions that hadn't been answered. Nobody's actually run 400 miles under the lights here. They're going to have little things that happen in this race that they've never experienced.
It is, though, an electric atmosphere. Have you ever experienced anything like it, Dick Bergman?
Nothing like this, and this is restrictor plate racing, and you talk about some drama. Listen to this. Last year, there were 4 restrictor plate races, 4 different winners. This year, so far, 3 restrictor plate races, 3 different winners. How about upsets? In the last 4 years here in this event, there have been 2 first-time winners.
But one man who has been a winner here at Daytona for years is the Reverend Hal Marchman. He is the chaplain for Daytona International Speedway. He is now set to offer this evening's invocation.
Please rise for our invocation and the singing of our national anthem by Sandy Patty.
Let us pray. Almighty God and Father of all mankind, we thank you for these wonderful lights, and we remember the good word saying, I am the light of the world, and he that walketh in light shall never walk in darkness. We give thanks for this wonderful promise, for this beautiful track, for the best fans in the world, and the best cars in the world, and the best crews in the world. Shalom and amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
America's favorite inspirational artist, Miss Sandy Patty. And as you see the fireworks going off here at Daytona, an interesting factor in the garage. So many of the teams have gone back to the Daytona 500 setups because the temperature outside right now, fellas, probably within 7 or 8 degrees of what we normally experience here during many of the February runnings. Not at all like a July Pepsi 400.
Eli, you're exactly right. And I talked to Larry McReynolds. He said, I want to tell you, Mike Skinner is starting with exactly the same thing that the car in the museum over here has from Dale Earnhardt when he won the 500.
Of course, the car in the museum, we're speaking of Daytona, USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction right next door, which always puts on display the winning car from each year's Daytona 500. Guys, just look at that. What a view. Collectively in this booth, we've probably got far more visits to Daytona than any of us would like to admit. We all had darker hair or hair when we first came here.
Oh, you got it.
This is just a spectacular evening.
Don't it just, I mean, if ever I was going to run another competitive lap, it would want to be right here. I've never made a competitive lap around this racetrack at night. I would love to try it one time.
I was just thinking that if Big Bill Sr. is really up there looking down, he'll have no problem finding his racetrack this evening. He built this place, opened it first in 1959, and would he not be proud to see this event being staged this evening?
Needless to say, not a seat to be had. Long since sold out. Heck, here on Bud Pole qualifying the other day, we had a crowd larger than many Daytona 500s of not that many years ago. The engines have fired. We are set to go racing, and so honored to be with you on TNN Motorsports for Daytona at the speed of lights. They light it up as they go green in a moment. Gordon is coverage of the Pepsi 400. Everybody, let's take a look at the starting lineup for this 40th renewal of the Pepsi 400. On the Bud pole, Bobby Labonte has won 3 of 4 restrictor plate poles here in 1998. Jeff Burton, his best restrictor plate finish, is 5th in the 98 Daytona 500. Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte sharing row number 2. Couple of big track veterans. Of course, Dale Earnhardt, who won here in February. And Mark Martin with 7 wins in 1998. Rusty Wallace was quickest, actually second fastest in happy hour here yesterday. And Jeff Gordon with 2 Daytona wins, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series point leader. Mike Skinner led the most laps at Talladega a weekend ago. And the first start for Hut Strickland, driving the second car for Andy Petrie Racing. The leading rookie of this year is Kenny Irwin, and Ward Burton is alongside in row number 6. A former winner here, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner Derek Cope, and John Andretti, who won this race a year ago. Steve Park and Ken Schrader share row number 8. Kenny Schrader, he was on the Bud pole just 1 weekend ago at Talladega. Look at those flashbulbs just illuminating further this Daytona International Speedway. Sterling Marlin, and give a call to Billy Standrich, guys. He comes to the big tracks, not a full-time runner. He's always in the field.
You're exactly right, and he's doing a Thunderbird, and the rules are really not that good for the Thunderbird. Billy's doing a great job.
Dan Pardis on the right of your screen, a local Daytona favorite in his first NASCAR Winston Cup race. He comes from the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series. Joe Nemechek and Kenny Wallace sharing the 27th and 28th starting positions. Michael Waltrip and Dave Marcus, who a week ago had his best finish since Bristol in 1994.
He had a Childress engine then. He has a Childress engine now. He could be very strong tonight.
There you see Jerry Nadeau and Ted Musgrave, 33rd and 34th starters. Wally Dallenbach, he was fast last night in practice, and Rich Bickle in a restrictor plate race. He's missed the other ones this year. There's Jimmy Spencer's T-Bird. Doesn't qualify well, but he might be coming to the front, so he says, good to see Ernie Irvin. And Johnny Benson had a little problem here last night in happy hour.
The hood blew off that thing in happy hour, damaged the back end of that car. They worked on it, fixed the roof, put a new hood on it, and got him back out in time for happy hour to finish.
And there you see the 43rd starter, Darrell Waltrip, Franklin, Tennessee, as this field gets set to go green. The first time ever under the lights. The Pepsi 400 for the first time ever on TNN. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the petting view from any angle. You know how dedicated the fellows were from Musco Lighting to get this project right? They went through the Richard Petty driving school to better understand the lights that are required for super speedway racing. That's what you call dedication. Now let's take a look and see what it looks like from the driver's point of view. Wally Dallenbach. Few shadows coming off the wall. What kind of feedback you hearing about that, buddy? And you've driven out here.
Well, you know, we're talking about those shadows off the cars as you see against the wall there. Right down on the outside of the wall there, there's a little shadow there. But nothing like the daytime when you're squinting with the sun in your face going into turn 1. I think the visibility is much better tonight than it is anytime during the daytime.
That's what everybody is saying. You know, it's amazing how well you can see. Look how bright it is from Steve Park's ride.
Yeah, looking up at Derek Cope's car there. Let's see, 180 on the water temperature. Yep.
Jeff Gordon climbing the banking here at Daytona International Speedway. All he's got to do is finish 16th or better in the remaining races. And the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship is his. From just down the street a piece, Mark Martin lives here in Daytona Beach, as so many of you know. He's tried his hardest this year to hang right there with Jeff Gordon. It's been so tough. And there you see Bobby Labonte, our Bud pole sitter, getting set to take the green in this very first race. Such a historic occasion. And you know, NASCAR racing has had so many historical happenings over the last number of years, whether it's new racetracks, new faces, new events. But this really, I think, takes the cake.
Well, everybody's been waiting for this thing for really all year long, and people have been very patient with what happened here in the 4th of July weekend, and the flashbulbs are going as the cars go by the grandstand, and everybody's ready for this thing to happen. Big night.
Those who didn't qualify for this event: Gary Bradbury, Rick Mast, Robert Presley. Tough break for Dick Trickle. After the problems of a week ago, they brought a Thunderbird here, but it couldn't qualify, and Rick Wilson. But you know, you look back, names like Fireball Roberts, A.J. Foyt, they have won here. Donnie Allison, Bobby Isaac, Sam McQuagg, Neil Bonnet, Leroy Yarbrough, Davey Allison. This racetrack just chock full of history. But to win that first Daytona under the lights will put you right there at that top of the list.
Eli, one thing, you can travel anywhere in the world, and they'll ask you, first question, you say a Winston Cup race, they say, have you won at Daytona?
Okay, get ready. Pace car is in. Strap in, folks. Glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. Enjoy the evening. Here we go. Good scramble up front. Here goes Jarrett, the winner last week at Talladega, with drafting help from Earnhardt. He'll swing to the inside of Bobby Labonte in turn 3.
Jeff Burton had a miserable start there. Jarrett brings him off turn 4, and they head down the front straightaway. He's making his presence known right now, leading into best place on super speedways.
13th top 5 start of the year for Dale Jarrett as you ride with Steve Park.
Burton on the high line, just dropping back.
Jeff Gordon riding in 12th. Here goes Earnhardt to the front. The winner of the Daytona 500 back in February. He takes the lead.
And Bobby Labonte drops in the second there with Rusty Wallace just behind him as they head off turn 2.
And typically that big track, Jarrett has to work to try and get back in line, and still hasn't.
Dale Jarrett got hung out to dry. You can see he's drifted back to about 7th place now on the outside.
Well, this is Earnhardt's 41st Daytona start. This is the 34th time he has led. He has led almost every race he has ever run here.
He is the winningest driver at this racetrack. Took that title over from the great road racer Hurley Haywood a few years ago. When you count the Busch Series races, the IROC races, the Gatorade 125s, no one has been more successful here than Dale Earnhardt.
Patience the thing right now. You know, the guys back here are running side by side. Jeff Gordon would love to be up there where they're running nose to tail right now and not have to contend with the car directly on the right side of him.
That double file running starts in 9th. Park in the 1. Jarrett the 88th, the 24 of Gordon. That's 9th on back.
Hearing there was no problem with Jeff Burton's car, just took him a while to get going.
Here comes Bobby Labonte on the outside, making a move on Earnhardt. Rusty's trying to figure who he wants to run with right now. He drops down with the 3 car there, Dale Earnhardt, as they go down the back straightaway. Mike Skinner makes it 3, 4, 5 cars down in the corner.
3 wide behind them. All of this on lap number 4. When it sorts out, Earnhardt still has the lead, and there goes Labonte, lucky to get back in line in 5th.
So spread out back there. Dust got kicked up from underneath Gordon's rear tires.
Riding with Jeff Gordon into the tri-oval there. You can see he's now nose to tail there. Nobody on the outside. That's the way to get around this place. Back here, that's traffic jam.
But Burton's still on that high side, still going nowhere with it.
And look at the 30 of Derek Cope. He has broken away from the 2x2 and has caught this front single file track.
Cope could be a threat back tonight. He really could. Now, he has run incredibly well. He's finished on the lead lap twice this year. It's the last 2 races. They have gotten their act together in a hurry.
See these guys running. Look at Cope on the outside. That's showing power there. He's moving up on Jeff Gordon as he come off turn 4.
Cope riding just ahead. He's in 7th. That's that black number 30. Then Gordon and Steve Park and Jarrett. But Mark Martin looking backwards towards Sterling Marlin. A brand new car after the problems of a weekend ago, and he's still in the middle of the pack, guys.
And that 55 car, Hutch Strickland making his presence known there as he's moving up in the 55 car.
That's incredible. Hutch Strickland doing such a job here. An essentially brand new team running as well as he is this early on.
22, Ward Burton. That team gets the sponsorship from Caterpillar next year. MB&A moves on to Joe Gibbs Racing for Busch Series cars and for Corey McLenithan's NHRA machine. 6 laps complete.
Eli, it looks like the outside groove's starting to work. These guys are starting to move around back here. It was single file. Now you see the 28 car, Kenny Irwin Jr., kind of called out on the inside as Gordon and all the guys are moving to the outside. Steve Park's trying to get by him on the outside. Boy, what an awesome shot that is. You think this place isn't lit up perfectly? Bobby Labonte's now moved his way into 3rd place. Mike Skinner has nobody there to help him. Here comes Cope on the outside, Eli.
Derek Cope trying to make a bid for 5th. Gordon wondering which way to go. Looks like they're going to leave Skinner by his lonesome down low.
Boy, he's got a lot of horsepower in that race car, though. He's holding his own with Bobby Labonte, and you see he has nobody directly behind him to help him drive.
Skinner went to school last week at Talladega. He led the most laps and wound up 7th when it was all done and over with. Got shuffled back by some of his friends, and he says he has a few debts to repay this evening.
Boy, Gordon's caught on the outside, and 24 there. He's dropping back some.
Field now working back towards the start-finish line. Meanwhile, Wally Dallenbach has problems. Wally Dallenbach with that flat left front.
300 turn 3 right now, Tony.
So Wally makes what has to be one of the longest rides in motorsports.
Get it back out.
And the one thing he has to worry about is that tire coming apart and knocking the inner panels out of the car.
We are 9 laps in to the Pepsi 400. Daytona at the speed of light is live on TNN. Live at the World Center of Racing. Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. The battle you're watching there is 4th and 5th spot. You see Wally Dallenbach. He has gotten a new Goodyears on, but he is going a lap down, as you see right there.
Derek Cope is driving a very aggressive race. He is not leaving much room between himself and some of those other cars. So far, so good.
Eli, we have to mention this. There is a threat of rain around the speedway here. You see these guys right now, though, they're going at it. They could care less at the moment about anything except trying to get that great track position. You see the 2 car there, Rusty Wallace trying the inside and outside. Nobody went with him. He jumped right back in behind Earnhardt. Nose to tail again.
Let's check in on pit road now and get an update on some other stories developing.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, Bobby Labonte's doing a great job right now staying up in the top 4 for one simple reason. He can't hear on his radio. There's a lot of bleed over coming. You'll never guess the reason what they figured out was causing it. Bobby's son, Tyler, picked up one of the team radios and was playing with it, talking into it. We got caution coming out.
And caution is coming out for some rain showers. Very, very light, but rain showers nevertheless, and it's something you don't mess with at 200 miles an hour. So, caution on the speedway for the first time. It'll be coming out here at lap number 13 of the Pepsi 400. Well, one thing's for sure, we've had a very light appetizer right here of racing, and it's spectacular.
Sure is. We had rain here last night as well during the happy hour session. Delayed it for well over an hour. It was amazing the number of fans who sat in here with, I guess what you would call high fashion at Daytona for the showers. Garbage bags that stretched to the ankles were in vogue last evening. The rain stopped. They got the 15 minutes of the half hour they hoped that they were going to get at that, and it just poured again. But tonight we're not supposed to have any big rain. Just a little shower, maybe.
So caution on the speedway here at the World Center of Racing. TNN Motorsports live coverage of Daytona at the speed of light. The Pepsi 400 continues in a moment.
Michael.
1983, Terry Labonte had the 1983 Firecracker 400 in his sights, when with 2 laps to go, his hopes fizzled. Out of gas, Labonte would drift back to 5th, and Buddy Baker would coast to victory after running out of gas as well on the final lap. It would prove to be Buddy Baker's final Winston Cup victory, and look how well he handles the champagne, folks.
It won't do anything. Ah, boy.
Plugged out of Champagne 101, did you?
What do you expect on my last super speedway win?
Let's go downstairs. There's been a driver change. Mike Hogwood has the story. Mike?
Ricky Craven now in the 36 machine. Ernie Irvan has climbed out. Ernie, first of all, how are you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling all right. You know, it's a shame to have to get out, but, you know, we're running that in the back right there. You know, hopefully Ricky can take it to the front.
What can you tell us about this racetrack, Daytona, under the lights?
You know, I don't know. You know, right now it's lit up really good. There's no problem with under the lights, but you know, nobody has any experience it, so you know, right now we just have to play it by ear.
Ernie Irvan out for the night.
Good to see Ernie here, though, and he'll look ahead to Phoenix and to Rockingham. Both races you'll be seeing right here on TNN Motorsports. You see Darrell Waltrip in the Tabasco car.
Eli, several of the cars back in the field come back in, took on extra fuel, got new tires. They're going out there and try to make this a 2 pit stop race.
Jimmy Spencer, we talked about him in the opening. There is that No Bull Thunderbird. He started near the back. He's up to 25th position right now. Another guy we need to talk about also. Let's not leave Ken Schrader out of the equation, because Schrader, who was last weekend's Bud Pole winner, is also working his way to the front. He is now 10th in that line of traffic that you see on the screen. He's moved up from his 16th starting spot. There's the man of the hour from lap 2 to this moment, and this caution flag now set to wrap up. Just the latest of rain shower that quickly passed across the Daytona International Speedway.
Running behind Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace. Hard to imagine considering Rusty Wallace an underdog, but here we really do. In 30 starts here at Daytona, he's got a grand total of 1 top 5. In 30 starts at Talladega, the other restrictor plate track, 1 top 5.
Rodney Wise with the green flag.
Somebody's really on the move on the bottom.
That's Wally Dallenbach trying to use whatever he can after making his pit stop. Weaving his way through traffic. There's Wally giving us the bird's eye view.
What he did, he anticipated the start there and got him a great run. And when you get by the flag, you can do what you please.
Of course, he is 2 laps down right now, Dallenbach is, after the tire problem that brought him to pit road at lap 9. And Mike, it's tough when you got to make a pit stop that early in the day, because Dallenbach now further drifting back as they scramble all around him on the racetrack.
Tony Furr, the crew chief for the 50 team, we're just getting some information on it, fell off the pit wall when Wally Dallenbach came on pit road. They think he has a broken leg. They have taken him to the infield care center. Randy Thornton will be in charge here in the 50 pit for the rest of the night.
Oh, brother. Of course, Tony was the winning crew chief here a year ago for John Andretti when he picked up the win in the Pepsi 400 for Cale Yarborough Motorsports. But again, Dallenbach a couple of laps down as we zero in on the scramble. Again, Cope in the 30. See if he can hang in there with Park's drafting help in the 1.
Well, you can see Cope moved to the inside. Here's Steve Park pulling up, trying to get in the draft there, but when he dropped way started off the turn 4 there. Woo, he got loose coming off turn 4.
Outside.
Park qualified with a Richard Childress engine. They had one available for this race this evening, but chose to go with their own, and they have had engine trouble the last 3 races in a row. But I guess they've decided it's all squared away now. They got their own stuff under their own hood.
There you see the spread from the first pack back to the second. It is just a tick under 1 second.
Eli, they need to get single file and run that front bunch down. If they build up a big edge here, this could really hurt these guys as far as track position as they run side by side. It slows them down.
And for the folks who are new to the sport, buddy, we should mention that there is a distinct difference between what we saw at Talladega and what you see at Daytona. The tracks, yes, they look alike, but they're not. One is narrower here. Handling is a difference, and you will see more packs of traffic here, won't you?
Exactly. 33-degree banking in Talladega, 31 degrees here. Just a little less banking, a little narrower here. And it comes to a point, and when you start wearing the tires down, that you actually need handling here, where Talladega, you just run it wide open all day long. Here, you have to really put yourself in great position getting in the corner.
And that was one of the great questions in the garage this morning. Do you go for handling, try to make the car easier to drive, or do you make the car squat down more on the racetrack?
No help.
It's faster when it squats down, but it's harder to hang on to, and the majority of crew chiefs I spoke with this morning said they are going for handling.
And you heard Park get the worst news you can get on a big track. No help.
Ball right up outside, man. We're hung a little bit right here.
And you can see Dale Jarrett going by. He looked like he was running 15 miles an hour faster as he starts to go by there. No help on this racetrack means steady movement to the rear.
But it doesn't mean the end of the day. Remember last week, Bobby Hamilton started 37th, got up to 5th. Then he went from 41st to 5th later in the day. So you just have to be patient.
Well, Steve Park, you know, is starting out. He's getting a lot of experience on these major speedways, but right now he's hung out by himself. Everybody else is single file now, and they're really getting to go.
There's your top 5. 6th is Jeff Gordon. Steve Burns is in his pit.
Yeah, Eli, and even though he's 6th, he's very happy with his race car. Just before the last car, or the first caution rather, he told Ray Evernham, this car is running great, and I really love to run it on the bottom. And also, Dick, to follow up on your point about handling, this track is more critical on handling than Talladega. One of the crew chiefs told me they just don't get quite the same grip on this racetrack as they do at Talladega.
There's Billy Standridge, one of the Ford Thunderbirds in the field, having problems off the pace, as you can clearly see in turn 3. A couple of laps ago, you'll see what happened to Billy Standridge. Watch that. Dan Pardis there in the 07 about got him.
Pardis did a good job.
So Billy Standridge in for an unscheduled stop here on lap number 20. Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. But we are still early, just 21 laps complete. Welcome you back live to Daytona, now in 32nd and about to go to 33rd and potentially 34th. But yes, as always, there is a reason why. Watch this turn 4 a few laps ago.
Steve Park on the bottom side, Mark Martin on the outside. Watch the back end of the car as it gets loose. The luckiest man in Florida to continue and not wreck that race car. The back end was way out there.
And now back live with Steve Park. He's in 32nd. You see just to your left there, the nose of Ricky Rudd's Tide Ride. And there is Ricky out set to go by. Johnny Benson will go by. Rich Bickle running there as well. And remember before, the spotter said, Steve, no help. Hasn't gotten any better. Still no help drafting-wise. And they'll finally get back in line.
That'll take a little bit of work on the chassis when he makes his first pit stop. I imagine right now he's just real happy he's still in the race, and they can adjust on this car. It's not all crumpled up.
There's Ricky Rudd, started 41st, now running, as you see, in 33rd. Johnny Benson right behind him has those Betty Crocker colors on the car. They were to have run those sponsorship colors here in July. And in this instance, it carried over. Of course, a lot of the teams didn't have that luxury. A lot of the teams had special sponsorships tied to things that were happening in midsummer. Baseball teams and so on and so forth. And those sponsor packages just have to be put to the side.
This so much looks like a daylight race until you look over the top of the wall and you see, in fact, it is night. This thing is so beautifully lit.
The top 12 have now broken away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, but it's going to double up here. As you see Gordon looking to the outside as they come off turn 4. They're not really happy. They want to get up there, get those 5 bonus points. Right now, I'm sure Jeff Gordon would love to lead a lap if he could possibly get up there. But right now, he really don't have that much help. You see Bobby Labonte, or is that that's Derek Cope?
Derek Cope right behind him.
Derek Cope right behind him. Right now, they're running side by side, and the leaders are moving away.
The front 12, though, even with this double file running, are still 4.5 seconds ahead of 13th place Jeff Burke and the rest of those cars behind him. Hey, there's Schrader in the 33. And he's up to 7th as you ride with Jeff Gordon now in 5th.
4th here in the Daytona 500 in February.
Boy, look at Jeff Gordon. Everybody thinks it's a ride in the park. He's working that steering wheel. He knows that draft is so very important to stay in. But he's up on that steering wheel. Through the tri-oval. Watch his hand movement here. Back and forth. Trying to walk that tight wire as he goes through the dogleg there.
Kenny Irwin in 3rd spot, doing a great job.
Super run for him. Of course, last weekend, the day ended early with engine problems. Kenny very much in it. Now watch this. 4 seconds until that group of cars right there. They've peeled back, and look who's leading that next pack. Talking about the old T-Bird and Jimmy Spencer.
Look at Ricky Craven in the 36 running right with Mark Martin. I'm sure Ricky Craven realizes this may have a lot to do with what he does in Western Cup racing later on. He's going to give her a hard ride.
And with the driver change replacing Ernie Irvin, they did not lose a lap. So Ricky very much on the lead lap at 15. Let's check back in with Glenn Jarrett.
Hey guys, when Steve Park had his trouble, I had a feeling there might be a reason for him getting so loose on the racetrack. I came down and talked to Felipe Lopez, the crew chief. He is big time loose. He cannot stay in the accelerator. The back end wants to come around. They're talking about making an air pressure adjustment, some wedge, anything they can do to try to tighten the car up. They're just asking him to hang on right now.
That's a handful at this place.
Yeah, no fun trying to hang on at 190 miles an hour at Daytona with all these cars riding.
We should take rebound out of the back end for fighting it, because I'm loose by myself, too.
Oh, loose by himself.
That's really bad.
And his last lap was down to 183 miles an hour compared to Earnhardt and those in the lead draft running 188. So a 5-mile-an-hour difference. You'll find yourself falling way behind and getting lapped before you know it.
Well, you wonder about courage. Remember, this guy got hurt at Atlanta this year. He was also hurt at Homestead. He's hanging right in there despite all that.
30 of 160 laps are complete here at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt took the lead at lap number 2 after Jarrett led the first lap. You see 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th on your screen. Derek Cope in that 30, just giving it a heck of a ride.
Here's that. He's on the bottom side of the racetrack, and up on top side there, you can see them all trying to get by Cope on the outside as Dale Jarrett pulls even with him down through the crowd.
Talking to Doug Hewitt, crew chief on that Derek Cope car. You know, we've gone through like 17 wrecks already this year. It has just been a remarkable number.
Well, they've also been through some tough times of just not being fast and just not being competitive, but they have worked incredibly hard over the last month or so, been to the wind tunnel, done a lot of work with engines, and it is paying off well.
43 started. 42 run. We have problems on the back straightaway.
Down the back stretch.
Number 3.
On the back stretch here. Back it off, boys.
Hey, Johnny Benson in the 26.
Jeff Bodine's in it.
Hutch Strickland in the 55.
Bickle in the 98. Green in the 46. Caution. Second time. That is Kevin LePage in the Prime Star machine.
He's coming out.
Little fire.
See Kevin moving.
Rolling on the ground to be sure all the fire's not on him.
And caution. A multi-car accident.
Jeff Green.
98 Bickle, Green, Hutch Strickland, Johnny Benson was involved. Clearly we saw LePage. Here comes Ted Musgrave.
Tremendous amount of damage to all these cars. Look at the right front corner of Musgrave's car as he slides into the pits.
Yeah, it looks like that radiator's losing some water too.
Jeff Bodine.
Oh.
He has not, of course, as a former Daytona 500 winner, not had good news of late. Knows now that he won't be in that car next year. Michael Waltrip will be.
And he's really got no ride lined up to replace this one either.
Michael Waltrip.
There's Michael. A lot of damage to the Wood Brothers car.
Wood Brothers winning as car owners here at Daytona. They thought they were going to have a great night tonight.
Jeff Green, a tremendous amount of damage to the left front corner of his car.
Rich Bickle in. And again, there's the Hutch Strickland car. You see the net is down and he's moving around.
Look at that tire. That come off the right rear of Michael Waltrip's car. What do you fix there? Everything's torn up so badly, they'll just have to make pieces to make that thing. It's wrapped around the rear end house, and you see them snatching on that rubber there, trying to get it off.
Oh, dragging pieces and parts.
Meanwhile, all the leaders will come in for pit stops. Lap number 33 will be pit stops for all the leaders. First to Glenn Jarrett.
And Rusty Wallace brings his car in. Guys, he has done a great job so far. Been glued right to Dale Earnhardt's bumper since the race began. Running in second place. He reports the car is just a little bit loose. So in this four-tire change, they're going to make an air pressure adjustment. Try to tighten him up just a little bit. Here's Mike.
Dale Earnhardt has said virtually nothing during the first part of this race. 4 tires and fuel. That's it for the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
All of these stops under caution, lap 33.
It looked like Rusty Wallace may have won the war on pit stops there. He leads Dale Earnhardt off pit road.
That's the same car Rusty Wallace had last week at Talladega. They repaired it, and it is running with the lead right now under caution here at Daytona. Glenn, good work by that Robin Pemberton crew.
Boy, and just as you said that, Eli, Robin looked at me and had a big smile and winked at me. I mean, they beat Dale Earnhardt out by maybe 2.5, 3 seconds. That might have been one of the best pit stops I've ever seen these guys do, and they have done some great ones. Came at a great time, got Rusty out in the lead. Tell you, he's got a fast race car.
When we come back to the World Center of Racing, we'll take a look at all that's gone on. Michael Waltrip's going to have to come back in again. You saw the big 21 up on the black flag board. Here's what remains of the Prime Star machine, the Ford Taurus of Kevin LePage. Michael Waltrip is on the initial receiving end of the first hit. Let's take you back and show you exactly what happened off the corner moments ago on the backstretch.
Let's all get involved. You see Kevin LePage there getting into the outside wall. Michael Waltrip gets caught, spins around. Everybody coming, goes low. Some of them go high, and you can see Ted Musgraves there getting involved.
Jeremy Mayfield just made it through. So did the 4 of Bobby Hamilton. Low was the way to get out of that, but there's no way to tell ahead of time. It is so hard to see when these big wrecks get going. Another view.
Looking from turn 3 back towards turn 2.
And you can see visibility's down. You cannot see a thing when you go through. With all the tire smoke and the car spinning round and round, how would you know where to go?
Look at Bill Elliott back there. You saw the golden arches. He just woed it on down.
Experience will do that for you. Picked the right lane, went down low, and just took it easy and managed to get through there without a nick on his race car. Oh, boy. Oh.
But again, Kevin LePage's car you saw alone on the low side of the racetrack. Break loose, clip Michael Waltrip, and the wreck was on.
Jeff Bodine there in the 7. He really tried to go low, and that got him involved. So there wasn't any
Look at
set
Dallenbach.
pattern.
Dallenbach just got through that mess, too. I don't know how he saw his way through.
Let's take a look.
Let's see.
We're
Look,
riding
I got
with
Wally
it.
in the camera.
This is what you can see in a major speedway wreck. Nothing. You see right there? What would you do? Listen.
He hit it.
Just barely touched the outside wall, and he was lucky nobody was there.
Oh, look at what's left of LePage's car.
Again, this is a replay of earlier. Kevin LePage after the accident. And on to the infield care center, where we'll have an update for you shortly. Under caution for the second time tonight. The first caution was at lap 13 for a little rain shower. Now a multi-car accident at lap 32. World Center of Racing under caution. The Pepsi 400 under the lights for the first time ever, and for the first time ever live right here on TNN Motorsports. The race leader, Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace has led only 96 laps in 43 restrictor plate races coming into this evening's event. Has been an empty plate, hasn't it? Meanwhile, down on the pit lane, Steve Burns checking on some other good runners. Steve?
Hey, Eli, Kenny Irwin has a very fast race car, but they had a little bit of a problem on the last pit stop. They wanted to make some adjustments. Look at here. They taped every one of their pit stops, and the crew was just over here moments ago seeing where they had a little bit of a problem. They did make some air adjustments on the tires, took some tape off the front grille. So again, Kenny Irwin is very happy with this race car. In fact, Eli, they've been trying to keep him calmed down.
Kenny Irwin running 7th right now. Still learning how to communicate with the crew and tell them what that car really needs. Jeff Bodine, he's down near the care center with Mike Hogwood.
Jeff, first of all, you okay? And what happened?
I'm fine. Kevin said he just lost a car, got sideways off too, and we all started running each other. If Goodyear could make a tire that didn't smoke, we could see where the wrecks were. Might be able to miss him, but I just couldn't see where anybody was. My spotters tried to help me, but the Phillips car tried to make a hole through there, but we hit somebody and put us out.
Tough break for you as you wind down with this team.
Well, we had a great car tonight. It was handling great, and we're just trying to get through that pack, and unfortunately we didn't make it. But what a night here at Daytona. History's being made. Wish I was out there.
And Jeff Bodine will not be part of it the rest of the night.
Tough break for Jeff in his 501st career start. You know, a lot of the drivers talk about the big one, referring to the multi-car crashes at Talladega and here at Daytona. Over the weekend, we've been asking a few of the drivers their thoughts about how do you avoid the big one.
Nothing you do about it. You're just out there riding, you know, and you're cruising along. You could be leading, you're cruising along, you could be running dead last, and you could be involved in something. And so it's kind of, you know, it kind of happens enough, or it happens where to the point I think you just understand it. You know, I think it's like, well, here it is, or there it is.
You know, you're always in a avoidance mode or survival mode, even if you're already, already had some kind of impact. You're still trying to drive the car. You're still trying to slide it into control, you know, from out of control into control.
9 times out of 10, everything is fine, but it's that one time when, you know, a little something happens, just a misjudgment of the apron or of where another car is, and all of a sudden you're in it. About that time, you know, you're just thinking, man, I hope I get through this. And if you don't get through it, you just hold on tight, and it seems like it takes forever.
Well, he manages to get on through it and held on tight. Jeff Gordon currently running in 5th. Rusty Wallace is the leader. Bobby Labonte is 2nd. Dale Earnhardt 3rd. Dale Jarrett 4th. Gordon is 5th. Skinner is 6th. Irwin is 7th. Then Schrader, Terry Labonte, and Mark Martin.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
You saw Wally Dolan back in the 50 there. He's trying to get back one of the 2 laps that he lost earlier.
Boy, I tell you, his chances are slim and none right now. You see everybody up there behind the 2 car. Rusty Wallace nose to tail down the back straightaway. He's only going to drop back.
Dale Jarrett there in the number 88 in the 4th spot. That's not just the car that won the $1 million last week. Believe it or not, it's the same engine. They took it all apart, put some new pieces in it, put the rest of it all back together. Same car, same motor.
A lot of fellas, though, had to go with Earnhardt, like Mark Martin. They just couldn't resurrect the machine of a weekend ago.
Eli, Jeff Gordon right now is just running just about a perfect race. You see him behind Dale Jarrett right there, two of the fastest cars, and Earnhardt just in front of them. Those three cars right now, they're just riding along. They're not worried about it because they know they have great race cars on this racetrack. Bobby Labonte in a second is going to look around, and I'm afraid that Rusty may be in trouble.
58 races now in a row that Rusty Wallace has not posted a victory. Dale Earnhardt there in the 3. You saw him with 1 win in 88 starts now. And look at that pack of traffic.
I was watching Jerry Nadeau in that green car up there. He was completely sideways on the high side, never cracked it, never backed up, just went right on by a car sideways.
Still in the early stages of the Pepsi 400. Rusty Wallace shows the way, but a long night's work yet to go. Live on TNN Motorsports, the 40th renewal of the Pepsi 400, and Dale Earnhardt's going to make the outside work if he can. And he can. Dale Earnhardt takes the lead in the Pepsi 400. Jarrett and Gordon may start shuffling Wallace the other way.
Yeah, they're on the outside there, nose to tail, and he's caught to the inside there. He's riding with Gordon as they head through the, look at the tack there, 6,800. I could read it very well.
They don't turn nearly the RPMs here in the restrictor plate races. That's part of what the restrictor plate does. You just don't crank them up to 9,000 RPM. Oh, is Gordon working that wheel?
He is, but look what he's under here. He and Earnhardt side by side.
Through all of that, Jarrett sneaks out ahead of the pack. So Jarrett, just out of the screen, is the race leader. This is for second.
Teammates on the high side of the racetrack. The 3 there is Dale Earnhardt, and you see Mike Skinner moving his way in there. They can hook up and really make it tough on these guys trying to lead.
Looks like they're running the pace lap.
Yeah, at 190 miles an hour. Kenny Irwin in the 28 car was very concerned that no one would run with him because he is a rookie, and he's afraid that some of these guys just don't have the confidence to run with him. And so far, so good. He is still right up in the front group.
Did you see Craven?
I did.
Did you see the
Craven
36?
now all the way up to 8th place. He is really flying in the 36 car.
If you're just joining us, Ernie Irvin started the car. Ricky Craven took over at a very early pit stop at lap 14. He's a good kid, too. Just want to see him do well.
He's a great kid. He really is, and he deserves a top ride in Winston Cup, and he's hoping to get one for next year. So far, he doesn't have anything.
Let's compare Mark Martin's hands now to what we saw earlier from Jeff Gordon, for instance.
You'll have to drop all the way on the left side. When Mark Martin first started racing, he was a very small boy before he started lifting weights, and he got where he would put both hands on the left side of the steering wheel through the corner so he could hold the car, and he never changed his driving style. You know what? It worked.
It sure does. It sure does. Let's see if Gordon can make it work with Irwin. Jarrett.
I hope it's not as frightening inside those cars as it is to watch it here at these speeds running that close together.
I can tell you, that's heaven right there. For a real race car driver to get out there and run like they're running right now, there's no fear in that group right there. All they don't want to do is make a mistake.
Michael Waltrip is back on the racetrack. He is 15 laps down after the accident of earlier. There are those two T-birds there, Spencer and Little.
Eli listened to the motor, so you could hear it purring down through there, but never lifting in the corners, running wide open all the way around the racetrack.
Mark Martin in the middle of all that traffic. If it weren't for the restrictor plate races, he'd be a whole lot better off this year. He's really had a tough time starting at Daytona where the rear end failed. He wound up 38th. He was 23rd at the first Talladega, and of course the big wreck last week. He was 34th. He doesn't like restrictor plate racing at the moment.
His finishes cost him 246 points versus what Jeff Gordon picked up at those exact same races. And when you come down to this time of the season, it really stands out.
Eli, steady mover right now. Kenny Schrader just behind our leaders here. You see him there in the green, number 33, moving up.
There's Schrader. There comes Mark Martin in ninth. The 40 is Sterling Marlin. Never count him out on the big tracks as we ride with Mark Martin.
Kenny Schrader there, as I was talking about, on the outside in the stoll cars. They come down the front straightaway side by side. Now the first three have kind of distanced themselves from the guys that are running side by side.
Remember, folks, back in February when Schrader finished fourth in the Daytona 500, he had that fractured sternum. Remember all that mess? He got involved in the accident with the Gatorade 125s and so on. He said, I'm happy to be here and to be here healthy.
Yeah. Oh, he had his neck operated on a Monday and come down here and run a complete 500 here after having surgery. So he's a tough customer. Believe me, he loves to race.
And really, the only reason he didn't win in February, if you ask me, is he had no drafting partner when it counted, if you remember back to the finish of the Daytona 500. There you see the front three having pulled away by 0.6 of a second from fourth place on back. It's getting good at Daytona. You're looking at the race leader, Dale Jarrett, in a scramble for second place behind him. Earnhardt wants to grab it away from Gordon and from Mike Skinner and from Labonte, but it's going to be a big scramble. And what had been a three-car draft, buddy, is, well, forget about that now.
Well, what we have now, we have a two-car breakaway and teammates going at it there. Mike Skinner fighting with Dale Earnhardt down the back straightaway. You can see these guys when they run side by side. The guys out front are going, we're going to do anything but do what they're doing back there, because it's slower when two cars run side by side than when you really have a drafting partner out front.
Look at the 33. Schrader very much in the mix now. Ricky Craven in for Ernie Irvan, riding with Bobby Labonte in fifth.
Look at Earnhardt, how fast he caught those guys after he quit running side by side with the 31 of Mike Skinner. He's right back on Gordon's back bumper.
Schrader having a strong run here tonight.
Ricky Craven there in that purple car on the outside there, filling in for Ernie Irvan. Great job. I guarantee you people right now are saying, you know, we might ought to talk to him when we're thinking about putting somebody in our car for next year.
There you see everybody moving by. Michael Waltrip, who is 15 laps down. That first big pack of cars.
And Michael's car badly wounded. He'll not be competitive for the rest of the night.
Is there anything worse than that, buddy, just riding around?
Nothing in this whole wide world, because what you want to do, you want to be up here like these guys that are racing with each other. When you're just riding around, it seems like it's 2 days long.
That was a 4-second break in the traffic right there. Back to this next group of traffic. John Andretti leading it. That's 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And you drop even further back now to Bill Elliott, 6.5 seconds further back behind the race leader. And the next group with Nemechek and Benson and Rudd. That white car in the middle of the picture, that's Brett Bodine. Kyle Petty's in there as we take you back up front. Those are the three big basic packs of traffic. In the garage, Bickle, Musgrave, Green, LePage, Bodine, Strickland, and Standridge. Only Standridge not involved in the accidents on lap 32. Some of the numbers in the draft. Like Rusty Wallace there running well, working the low side of the racetrack.
Got a good car. He just got called out a little while ago. See Ricky Craven there coming off the corner on the high side in that purple car. He and Schrader going at it now.
I want to go back to the infield care center a second, guys. And Hog, what's the deal on Kevin LePage? Have you heard anything yet?
Yeah, Eli, he's getting x-rayed right now. He's getting his shoulder x-rayed. They think it might be broken, and he might have broken it when he dove out of that race car. You remember there were some flames inside of there, and Kevin got out in a pretty big hurry.
So we'll get an update further. That's Mike Hogwood down at the Infield Care Center.
A lot of shuffling around here.
There, though, but how Craven comes out in front of that pack.
There's a guy right there you can never count out in that 40 car. That's Sterling Marlin. Very, very good here at Daytona.
All the way back in August at New Hampshire, I was talking with him about the car. He said, don't worry about this. He said, wait till we get to those 2 restrictor plate tracks. That's where I'm really going to run, and that is where he has run best throughout his career.
9 top 10 finishes for Sterling Marlin, including 3 wins and 3 second-place finishes in his last 12 Daytona starts. Fairly impressive numbers right here. But the most impressive numbers are the ones those guys are putting up on the board. They're trying to get gone from everybody else. A lot of souvenirs here. We're coming right back. You think you have a great seat? You see that thing on the bottom of the screen?
That's a bad choice as far as I'm concerned. Make up your mind and make it good.
Well, I guess the Lizard heard all the seats were sold, and he just wanted to get close to the action. Hope he got across.
Also gotten close to the action by logging on to country.com, CNN's home on the World Wide Web. It is your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect to country.com. Look at Ricky Craven in Ernie Irvin's car battling Schrader for 4th with drafting help.
Oh, he does, and he's got a fast car with him. Bobby Labonte's right there, and you can see right now he's cleared Schrader all the way up to 4th. What a great drive. You know, the first time he drove for Hendricks Motorsports down here, they had a 1-2-3 sweep, and he was right up there. Ricky Craven, very good at Daytona.
No, it's a magnificent story there for Ricky Craven. Misses, what, a dozen races this year, comes back, lasts 4 more races before they part ways, he and the team.
And it's a brand new race car as well. He walked into the garage. He only knew the names of 2 of his crew members, one of them the crew chief, and he has managed to get this done tonight. What an incredible job by Craven.
The other guys he knew as, hey, you.
Would you please?
And they did. Look, the young man's running up in 4th.
But, you know, one of the things they did that may have proven to be a good move was they didn't much work on qualifying. They instead worked on the race because they figured if Ernie got in the car to go backwards anyway at the start of the thing, working the night.
We're back in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th on that picture you saw seconds ago. Terry Labonte working his way through traffic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, you see those hand signals right there. That's how you can communicate with people you're trying to work in traffic with. You put your hand up. When you want them to follow in line, you put your hand straight up and say, let's keep it all in line here. We're catching these guys that are racing side by side.
That's 12th and 13th. Mark's in 13th. You've got Ward just ahead of him and Sterling Marlin to the left. Here's Derek Cope with problems now. Oh, too bad. Derek Cope running in 19th now. Way off the pace. Earlier, folks, if you weren't with us, he was mixing it up right outside the top 5.
Yeah, I was watching that car come through there. He definitely got a problem. He was totally out of the accelerator. If I'm not mistaken, just behind the left front there, I see a little bit of smoke.
Yeah, he might have brushed the wall. Looks like the smoke is going to come off, what, the right rear, probably from this angle. Tough to tell, but he might have just brushed the wall coming off the corner.
He's had a tough time here at Daytona. 4 out of his last 5 starts have resulted in DNFs. But he did win here in 1990.
And now the guys in the truck have come up with the video. Looking for it. There he is.
Hello, wall.
That tells it.
Yep. Good work to pick out that shot right there. And Glenn, he tagged the wall coming out of number 4, right with the right rear.
Yeah, Eli, that's what we're hearing. We've moved down into Derek's pits, and all the guys are standing on the wall waiting him right now. And there's always a bad sign. They got that great big hammer and the softball bat to try to get the thing straightened out for him. He still hasn't made it down pit road, but a lot of long faces here because he had a real good race car.
So his stop will take place under green, while up front you see the front 3. Jarrett took the lead at lap 44. We're now at lap 66. Jarrett led lap 1. Earnhardt led the next 30. Rusty Wallace led a lap. Marcus led a lap. Wallace led 7. Earnhardt led a lap. And now Jarrett has led from 44 through 66.
For Dan,
World Center of Racing. Dale Jarrett still leads the Pepsi 400. Hey, folks, you can use your internet access to see live in-car camera views from Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, and others. Log on to that computer address, tnnracing.com. It's available to you right now. If you're a Ted Musgrave fan, he's back after the accident of earlier. He's 33 laps down, but he's out there nevertheless. And Wally Dallenbach will go a 3rd lap down now, being bypassed by the leaders.
Schrader hanging in there in 4th spot. That's the green car. Running a much higher line than anybody else in that front pack.
It's almost like his car's pushing a little bit, getting in the corner. You see him moving up the racetrack there.
Meanwhile, Kevin LePage has just walked out of the infield care center. Mike, what do you got?
He's right here now, and we'll try to get a word with him. He's explaining his injury.
Yeah, went in turn 1, following John Andretti. Come out of turn 2, the car broke loose, prime start torch. I don't know if it was a rookie mistake or somebody took the air off the spoiler. Jack come over and said, maybe there's somebody behind me took the air off the spoiler. But, I just hate it for all the other guys. I hate it for my team. I mean, they worked all week long to get this car back together after Talladega. And to come here and destroy the car, pretty frustrated.
Kevin, how's the shoulder?
It's a little tender right now. I definitely won't be playing golf tomorrow, but we'll be ready next week, Phoenix.
All right, Kevin LePage, they say he does have a crack in his scapula. He's a tough race driver. He'll be back next week.
It's certainly good to hear that Kevin LePage will be back next week. Very talented young driver from Shelburne, Vermont. Derek Colt has taken the gum-out Pontiac behind the wall. Repairs will have to continue there. Rusty Wallace, he has led already here this evening. It is in that 6-car pack. Those 6 all on the lead lap.
The team has put in an extraordinary effort in their restrictor plate program this year. Last winter, they tested and tested, cut 7 different bodies off cars, working on things. Didn't quit there. They've been to Talladega with Jeremy Mayfield. Our broadcast colleague, Buddy Baker's been through the window of cars in that team as well. Rusty was here testing several nights in the night. It's working pretty good, huh, buddy?
Looks awful good right now, but Dale Jarrett right now, he just, when he gets out in front, he keeps about the same distance on a second-place car all the way around the speedway. Nobody seems to be able, even with help, to pull up on him right at the moment.
And you think about it, Jarrett has posted 7 finishes of 8th or better in his last 12 visits here. That includes a couple of wins. So, like he's up front here and won at Talladega last weekend. Certainly not at all a surprise.
I think we all remember when he won his first time here at Daytona, and Ned Jarrett, his father, was able to bring him home on that last lap. One of the most inspiring things I ever watched on TV.
One of the best pieces of broadcasting you're ever going to enjoy. And watch this scramble here. That's the 3rd and 4th. Schrader trying to grab it away from Earnhardt.
He does it.
Got it.
On the outside. Hard way to go.
Schrader, 10 top 10s here in his last 12 races. Another fine super speedway racer.
He's a fine racer no matter what kind of racetrack it is. You think about it, if it's a quarter-mile dirt track or a super speedway like this or a half-mile paved, doesn't really matter. Schrader's there.
But the frustration for Ken Schrader of not having posted a NASCAR Winston Cup win since Dover, Delaware, back in June of 1991, it's beyond belief.
Eli, you see him fading the high side of the racetrack. What he's getting, though, he's getting tremendous run down the back straightaway. He's using a little bit wider line. You see Earnhardt, he's looking back on the inside. No dice. The 33 is strong, but I tell you what, I don't think he's going to be able to keep running that high line because the guys will get away from him if he keeps doing that.
Terry Labonte there, left of your screen. He's running in 8th. Kenny Irwin behind him in 9th.
This is a second pack. Running a couple of seconds behind, not quite all couple seconds behind. Look at this.
There's Schrader now yielding to Bobby Labonte to his inside.
Yeah, you can only do these things so many times, and everybody goes to school on where you're running really good. You can see right there, Rusty Wallace running directly behind Bobby Labonte down through that back straightaway there. Great car, able to stay right on the apron.
75 laps on the board of 160. Just joining us, only 2 cautions. The retirees are Standridge, Jeff Bodine, LePage, Strickland, and Bickle. For second place behind the race leader Dale Jarrett, coming to the halfway point of the Pepsi 400.
Behind the 3, lines behind the 3.
Listening to Jarrett's radio. He's also planning what to do with $10,000 on the line for the Gatorade Front Runner Award. He'd like to pick that up as they come to the crossed flags.
He's looking in the mirror and going, yeah, you guys keep racing side by side.
Halfway home with the Pepsi 400.
Good job. Take care of your fuel.
You might be surprised to see Jeff Gordon running as hard as he is and to be running up front this way when he's pretty well got the point thing locked up with 288 ahead. You might think he'd want to be conservative, but he said he has got a good view of the big picture, which is what they told him to do at Talladega last week when the 6th car went out, Mark Martin. But he said, you know, I get out there and the instincts just take over.
And nothing like those kind of instincts for Jeff Gordon, who tries to pull off yet another NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship. Let's go down to his pit area, Steve.
Well, Eli, we were just listening to Ray Evernham talk to Jeff on the radio, and what they're going to do on the next pit stop is remove some tape from the front of the grill. They're a little concerned about the water temperature, but also we can ask Buddy Baker what sort of handling effect that has. They put about 4 strips of duct tape on the grill. They're going to pull one of them off next stop.
Well, what it'll do is, Steve, it'll change the amount of downforce the front end has, of course. But if it's running hot, the benefits of keeping that engine pretty cool will outweigh the amount of downforce you have on the front of the car.
Here's a battle for the lead.
Still down there. The whole line's down there.
Here comes Gordon right along. These guys are working together. You see him getting shuffled back to 3rd place there, Eli, as he comes down off turn 4.
All clear.
So all clear as Jarrett gets back in line, manages to get back in line in 3rd, and the fans who salute Dale Earnhardt see him take the lead again at lap number 82. Rich Bickle has gone back to the garage area. Derek Cope is racing again, but he is 13 laps down if you're a fan of his.
Here comes Schrader on the outside. He's persistent, I'll tell you that, as he puts the 2 car there, Rusty Wallace, in position back.
He's persistent, too, the fellow in that black number 3. What a run he is having tonight at Daytona.
Dale Earnhardt, the winner of the Daytona 500. Still out there, a great champion, wearing that open-faced helmet of his. We asked him about it this weekend. Why do you still wear that?
I'm more comfortable in it. I can feel the air around the car. I can feel when the car's under me, the air changes, you can hear better. I don't know, sort of driving by the seat of the pants, kind of old-style racing, I reckon, but just what I really got used to. I've tried the full-face helmets. I've tested with them. I tried to engineer one that I could wear that would be comfortable or give me the vision and give me the feel and the sound that I wanted, but just never was comfortable with them, so I never have evolved into that.
And we talked about it this weekend, buddy. A lot of folks, if you've never driven, you don't quite understand what he's talking about when you can feel that air.
It's very simple. You've had the window down when you pass the truck on the interstate.
Sure.
You can feel the pressure inside the car change as you go by the truck. The same thing happens when a car pulls up on the inside.
And he has extraordinary peripheral vision as well. He can see cars coming up. And spotters here are a bit of a problem. It's really difficult for the spotters to make the call, so the drivers have a lot more responsibility in that regard. Open-face helmet may prove to be an advantage for Earnhardt tonight.
31 times he's been to victory lane here. Here's a good scramble for 11th now as Sterling Marlin in the 40 tries to grab the spot from Ricky Craven, who's subbing for Ernie Irvan in the 36.
Here.
So they make that swap easily enough. Mike Hogwood's been down on the Ernie Irvan, Ricky Craven pit area all night.
Ryan Pemberton just told me that Ricky Craven says the car can be even better. He thinks it is way too loose. They're going to tighten it up on this pit stop coming up in a couple of laps. Ricky Craven says then he thinks he could go up and contend for this thing.
Well, we'll find out. Certainly, he's running in 12th right now. Everybody pitted at lap number 33. We're now at 85, so closing in on pit stops here at the World Center of Racing. We'll cover it all for you. Daytona at the speed of light. Tonight live on TNN Motorsports. Of the Pepsi 400. 12 times he has raced here at Daytona. He has led the race in 11 of those 12 events. He made the move around Dale Earnhardt at lap number 87, bringing Schrader with him to second, and here's what happened just a half lap ago.
You see him power by on the inside of Earnhardt, and he gets some help from an old teammate there, Ken Schrader. He goes with Gordon on the bottom, meaning one thing, Doctor, that Schrader can run anywhere he wants to. He can run low if he wants.
He just proved that. But there he is back upstairs again. Maybe the car is happier up there.
Maybe the car thinks Harry Gant is driving.
Well, it's green. Maybe it does. It's the green Skoll car. Harry Gant for many years ran upstairs in cars that look just like this one.
Well, it's not very long until we start thinking about pit stops, and I'm sure Gordon said, hey, I've got a shot here. I better take it.
So he grabs his 5 bonus points. The way everybody's running right now, the lead pack is tied tightly together by 0.7 of a second from Gordon back to Wallace. And you've got a half second further back to the Labonte brothers. You know, in the middle of all that, Kenny Wallace in 14th, Nadeau in 15th, Andretti in 18th. Super run for those fellas here tonight. Andretti, of course, a winner here just a year ago. Led 113 of the laps here a season back. Sterling Marlin, Jeremy Mayfield, that's 11th and 12th on your screen. 13th now, that is Ricky Craven in Ernie Irvan's car, 4.5 seconds behind the race leader. Then you drop back 5 seconds further back, and you'll finally get to the lap machine of Brett Bodine. Earnhardt is the new leader because he stays on the track while others make pit stops. Pit stops at lap number 92 for most of the race leaders. Gordon is in. Labonte is in. That's Terry Labonte. Mark Martin is in. Ward Burton is there. Let's go down to see Burns.
And Jeff Gordon's in. They're going to change right side tires on the DuPont Chevy right now. They went to look at the tape on the front of the grill. So far, they have not. Now they removed the tape off the front of the grill. The water temperature has come down. When he took the lead, he got out in clean air. Left side tires are on, and Jeff Gordon is down in 19.5 seconds.
Here come others leaving the pit lane behind them. The drag race is on while Ricky Rudd enters pit road. So does Park and Pardis. Kyle Petty is in for his service. All of this taking place at lap number 92. Dale Earnhardt currently the race leader. Johnny Benson just ahead of him has already been in the 26. Johnny's been in at lap number 86 some 5 laps ago.
Boy, if the caution was to come out right now, you could see Jeff Gordon going a lap down to Earnhardt, who's been out on the racetrack. There's Gordon right there. He likes that. He's 1 full lap behind right now.
Shades of Talladega last week.
Again, 3 is the leader. 88, Jarrett is second. Bobby Labonte also out there running in 3rd. Glenn Jarrett, what are they saying about the strategy to stay out while the others pitted?
Well, guys, on about lap 85, Bobby Hutchins from the 3 car came down to the 88 car, and he talked to Todd Parrott. What they're trying to do, they got Earnhardt to drop back when Gordon went by him, so DJ and Earnhardt could run nose to tail. The reason that Earnhart's following that lap car now, they're trying to save fuel so they can go to lap 97. If they go to 97, they have run 66 laps on fuel, and there's 1 lap less than that to go when they return to the racetrack, only 63 laps. So they're trying to make it to 97 Both Earnhardt and Jarrett think if they do that, they can make it on just one more stop. They're trying to save fuel right now. They're encouraging them both to watch the fuel. Watch the fuel.
You can see right there the new tires are really, really working for these guys as they come up through there. Jeff Gordon's picking them off. He went by Dale Jarrett not long ago. Now he's put Earnhardt down. He is moving. I'm telling you, he's flying out there with new tires.
Bobby Labonte, though, being shown as the race leader right now. There he is at the head of that line. If you're a Jeff Green fan, after the accident of earlier, he's back on the racetrack. 61 laps down. That's where Jeff Green is running. As you see the race leader, Bobby Labonte, in the middle of a series of pit stops under the green here at the World Center of Racing, and it's all live on TNN Motorsports. Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Texaco. There you see the numbers. Average speed of 161 is still some 12 miles an hour off the record pace set by Bobby Allison in a Mercury here back in 1980. But nevertheless, only 2 cautions slowing this evening's activities. Pit stops are continuing now, as you see those who are officially done for the evening, all with the exception of Cope and Standridge as a result of the accident of earlier. There's a story on Dale Earnhardt's car. He came into pit at lap 97. The nose of the car was pristine, but watch what happened as he was leaving pit road. Watch this.
See this tire right there? Look at the front end now. He knows it's there. He starts wiggling the car, trying to make it go one way or the other. It's bending the front of the car in. Right here, it gets rid of it. But look at the damage to the nose of that car. That may really, really hurt that car when he gets up to speed.
Mike Hogwood, what are they saying? How significant is the damage?
Well, the damage is significant. They're pulling a new nose piece out from under the tarp back here. I believe Dale Earnhardt's going to have to come back in here.
How about that? Dale Earnhardt trying to make the Daytona double for this year.
What he needs to do right now is find somebody, get directly behind him, and then it does not matter that much right on the nose of the car, but he needs to get a drafting partner and follow as closely behind him as he possibly can.
The race leader now is Jeremy Mayfield through this cycling around of pit stops. If you're curious, the last time one driver won both the Daytona 500 and the Pepsi 400 in the same year, Bobby Allison back in 1982. Dale Earnhardt has problems leaving pit road. Meanwhile, that man, Dale Jarrett, running in 6th. Let's get an update on him from the pit lane.
Well, guys, while we were away, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, and Bobby Labonte all came in at the same time on lap 97. That's exactly what they planned. As I said, that only left 63 laps for them to go. Jarrett's crew changed 4 tires and gave him fuel in 16.9 seconds. They had a great pit stop. They came back out on the racetrack with their drafting partner, Bobby Labonte. They're set to go the rest of the way. Here's Steve Burns.
Hey, Glenn, we just saw Dale Earnhardt hit a tire on pit road. I'm down in the 28 pits of Kenny Irwin. This is where the tire came to rest. You can see it came off the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. This is the tire that did the damage to the front end of Dale Earnhardt's car.
So the story is now beginning to build. Just 60 laps from the finish in the Pepsi 400. Kenny Irwin right now being shown in 11th spot. And there's your leader, the 24, Jeff Gordon, putting a lap on Kyle Petty and following Ricky Rudd around the racetrack. Those gentlemen, Rudd and Petty, 25th and 26th respectively. Bobby Labonte in the 18. Skoll car is Schrader. Jarrett right there watching as well.
No surprise as we approach the end of this race. Laps are winding down to see that 24 car in the lead.
Boys, don't count that 3 car out. He's got damage to the front, but he's directly behind these guys. Tucked right up the back bumper there, the 33 car, Kenny Schrader. He's taking her home. Look at this, right up under him.
There you see the nose of that Chevy Monte Carlo. It's from Bobby Labonte's onboard cameras.
And it's really pushed up. When you think about all the effort they put into these cars at the wind tunnel, a 16th here or there makes a huge amount of difference. And you can see that this is a lot more than a 16th. This is feet that are messed up.
But he's going right by the guy whose tire he collected.
Down on the bottom side. You can see right now, though, he's giving up a little bit getting in the corner. As you can see, Jarrett and him run right up on him there, getting in the corner. Pushes off the corner there.
See that? Couldn't keep it going down low, and Glenn, that could be the story as they work off the corners.
Oh, absolutely, guys. You know, as long as he keeps the nose of his car tucked right up behind somebody else, that air dam doesn't make any difference because he's not breaking any air up. It's not hitting that corner. It's when he gets in the corner, he gets up high out of the draft of another car. That's when it kills him. That's taking air off the nose. It's reducing the downforce on the car. It's going to make it push. As long as he's stuck right up somebody's tailpipe, he don't have a problem. When he's running in clean air by himself, that's where it's going to hurt him.
Good point from Glenn Jarrett down on the pit lane. We are at lap 103. You see just 57 to go. A spectacular night here at the World Center of Racing. The first time ever that the 2.5-mile trioval has been lit for racing. And it's Jeff Gordon showing the way. Back in a moment. Pepsi 400 at Daytona. 23 cars still on the lead lap. 23rd spot belongs to Bobby Hamilton. The race lead held by Jeff Gordon to go to the top spot at lap number 100. We're now at lap 105. All right, let's test your trivia knowledge, gentlemen. When and where was the first restrictor plate race run? Problems in turn 2. We'll get back to that in a moment. Problems in turn number 2. Dan Pardis from Daytona Beach, Florida, spins off the number 2 corner. There is Dan Pardis. First time in a NASCAR Winston Cup race. He's from the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series, and caution is on the speedway. Caution, lap 106. That man, Dan Pardis, spins off the corner.
Eli, you can see him moving around inside the car there. That's always a good sign.
We do have a full look at what happened for you. Last car in line.
You see the back of the car just start around on him, down on the flat part. Now watch it go back up the racetrack. Right there. Ooh, I'm telling you, Kenny Irwin.
Kenny Irwin, running in 11th, just did miss.
Well, Irwin may be a rookie, but that was a veteran move. Well, Pardis has it running. Not that badly damaged either.
So Dan Pardis brings out caution for the 3rd time today. Now, before he spun, we were giving you that Aflac trivia question. Folks in Aflac wanted to know when and where was the very first NASCAR Winston Cup restrictor plate race run.
Well, I'm not going to answer because I know, but you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sure you know.
I think it's Michigan.
Indeed it was.
Okay.
Michigan Speedway. A lot of folks say, well, didn't think it was anywhere except Daytona or Talladega.
See, I told you sometimes I do know.
He knew it all along. So caution for the 3rd time here at the World Center of Racing. Pit road is open. We'll take a look at all the top runners as they come down the pit lane. These stops will be at lap 107. All the leaders are coming in. Gordon, Mayfield in second. Earnhardt next in line. Mike Hogwood.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is in, and they are cleaning the windshield, putting 4 tires on. But behind the toolbox here, they are still putting tape on a nose piece. They hope to put the bottom piece of the nose on. It is not ready yet. Bobby Hutchins has told me that they have worked hard to try to get this done. They're pulling out the nose. Now they're seeing if they can pull it out a little bit. They have got it out just a bit. The Steve Burns.
And Jeff Gordon comes on pit road, just narrowly misses Jeremy Mayfield. 4 tires from the 24 car and fuel, and they should be able to go the distance from this point. We'll double check with Ray Evernham.
So pit stops taking place here at lap 107. The work continues. Bobby Hutchins, the man at the front right there, doing the work as they get the nose of Earnhardt's Monte Carlo back in shape. Bakersfield, California. Check it out. NASCAR Online. Dale Earnhardt's been back in for another stop here at lap number 108. More work on the nose of his Chevrolet. Meanwhile, there is your leader, Kenny Irwin. Remember how close he was getting caught up in Pardis's spin up there, fellas?
Boy, he could have been out of the race just as easily as he's leading the race right now. Jeff Burton right now is running in second. Joe Nemechek. We have a new cast of people, and Bill Elliott all the way up to fourth now.
There is Jeff Gordon. He's running back in ninth right now.
Teammate right behind him.
What a year for Jeff Gordon. It really has been a dream season, hasn't it? 10 wins. 29 starts. The numbers are just spectacular. No, in 1975, remember that? The King, Richard Petty, 13 wins and 30 starts. 21 top fives, and he won the title by 722 points. You know what he won that year, guys? $130,275. That was the point championship. Then you see some bonus dollars thrown in. Look at that comparison. Let's go forward to DW. Darrell Waltrip with 12 wins and 31 starts in 1981. He won the title by 53 points over Bobby Allison that year. Check out the monies there. Gordon already this year versus what Darrell won for all of 1981. It gets better. That guy, Earnhardt, 1987, won the title by, 489 points over Bill Elliott. 11 wins, 21 top fives. The Intimidator, couple of $1 million and change. That's not that far away. That's 11 years ago, guys. That's all.
Yeah.
And you know, if you step out of the so-called modern era, the greatest season ever was, of course, 1967 by Richard Petty. Folks, remember that year? 27 wins. 27 wins that year. 38 top fives in 48 starts. At one point, what was it, 10 wins in a row? And his paycheck for that whole season was $130,000.
Well, the other night, Winston was in the media center and announced they're going to redo that No Bull 5 program. The guy with the biggest grin, guess who?
I bet.
Gordon.
Green flag is in the air. We're back to work at lap 111 of 160.
Remarkable run by Kenny Irwin, rookie, 1998. Has finished at Talladega, either race, an engine failure at both. Here he is, leading at Daytona.
Whoa, Jeff Burton looking on the outside. I thought he was going to make it 3 wide as he come off turn 2. He'll go down the back straightaway. Right now, Steve Park is trying to make up a lap on the inside there. I don't think so. He's called out of line. You can see right there. There's our new leader.
Kenny Irwin, third race he has led this year. He led 113 laps in Atlanta back in March. He led 1 lap under the lights in Richmond back in early September. And now here tonight at the World Center of Racing. Jeff Burton second, Nemechek third, Bill Elliott fourth, Schrader fifth, Roy Burton is sixth, Rusty Wallace seventh, Mayfield is eighth, Jeff Gordon ninth, Terry Labonte is 10th. What a weird year for Kenny Irwin. I mean, this is the first race in Charlotte. Has a great run the second time around. Goes speed down the stretch.
Goes to Atlanta and looks like he may win the race there until right near the end of the race. Had a pit stop to put him back, but right up front all day long.
Then last week he runs a handful of laps. That's all at Talladega. And now here he is leading late in the evening. There's Earnhardt with that fixed up nose piece.
And his teammate right behind him to help him through all that traffic.
They're back in 21st and 22nd spots respectively there.
You know, you heard Glenn at the first part of the day talking about people making deals. Right now, team cars are beginning to, if you notice right now that Jeremy Mayfield right along here is leading Rusty Wallace. These guys are starting to use their buddy system a little bit.
Let's see what happens here. Schrader's thinking about doing something.
Whoa.
He'll grab second. Burton's out of line.
How about
will be bypassed by his brother also.
How about first? Look at Schrader on the high side there, and right behind him Ward Burton. Down on the bottom side you can see the team cars of Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield.
Middle of that pack near the back, 3 wide as they come to the straight. Irwin again by strike.
Teammates all over this place. You're right, buddy. The 24 and 5 are hooked up. The 2 and the 12 are hooked up. No teammates right up front there, though. Irwin, the 28 car, your leader.
I don't know if the apron was ever made to be raced on, but they're certainly using it here tonight.
Yeah, they are.
I've been down there, believe me. That is not car friendly.
No, it's not. Look at Jarrett. Fire by to the inside. He'll make it work there. Grabs a couple of spots.
You know who he's looking at on the high side there. You see he knows Gordon's right up there. Gordon's really quick.
Top 5, Irwin, Schrader, Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, Jeremy Mayfield. That's how they run, Glenn.
Yeah, Eli, I think let's put it in perspective. On that last pit stop, Kenny Irwin, Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, Bill Elliott, and Ken Schrader all came in with everybody else. They only took 2 tires. That's how they got out in front of everybody else. Ward Burton did not change tires. He took fuel only. The rest of the guys, Gordon, Jarrett, the 12 car, the 2 car, those guys, they took 4 tires. That's why they lost so much track position to begin with.
I believe the guys are finished sitting in line.
How about a Tarzan sound? Do you hear it? That 24 of Jeff Gordon went all the way down to the grass there on the bottom part of the racetrack. It seemed to eat these cars alive.
Yes, sir, with a championship at stake, Gordon is driving a conservative race tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mark Martin back in 12th. Look at that. Jarrett trying to...
There was a little contact there. I think what happened there was you could see Gordon move to the bottom and then move right back out, and he got touched on the right rear corner there by Jarrett. I got that stumbling around there. I got excited.
Got Chad Little running in 15th right now, having picked up 5 spots of late. Haven't talked much about Spencer. His T-Bird's back in 21st right now. What are we checking on pit road with Steve Burns, Steve?
Eli, I went to Ray Evernham after that last caution 7 or 8 laps ago, and he said that was a huge break for them because they could not have made the rest of the race on gasoline, but they can now because of that last caution when Dan Pardis had trouble.
So it turns out to be a big break right there for Jeff Gordon. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace, who ran as high as 8th at one point last Sunday in Talladega, is now headed to the garage area. And if he doesn't come back out, it'll be his 13th DNF of the year. And it's getting a little dicey now.
Yeah, it's showtime. The dress rehearsal's over. These guys are starting to push each other around, making 3 wide down the back straightaway. As you can see here, these guys are going after it every way they can right now. Earnhardt kind of mired up in traffic at the moment.
Last lap for that pack of traffic, 188.592 miles an hour.
Pretty wide going into the corner. You can go in that way, but you can't go through it that way. Bill Elliott right in the middle of all that mess. His crew definitely deserves the trophy for the hardest working crew. They have been under that car, over that car, inside that car. They left here last night when the garage closed. Every one of those guys looked like they had rolled around in the oil and the mud and the dirt because they had.
Eli's had a beautiful shot as these front guys go down the front straightaway here from the helicopter cam. I tell you what, that is beautiful, beautiful racing.
Unbelievable. Rusty Wallace starting to work on Kenny Irwin now, inside, outside. Is he more messing with him and messing with the rookie's mind right now, buddy?
Well, I tell you who looks strong to me. You look at the 4th place car of Jarrett right there. He's looking right now. He's thinking about, if I could just get to my teammate right now, one of us would make this thing a little tough for these guys to get by us.
Jarrett this year, 34th here at Daytona. 3rd in the first Talladega race. A winner last weekend in the Winston 500. And running in 4th right now, lap 118 of 160, while the Kingsman Andretti is running in 20th. Gordon now running in 2nd with Jarrett in 3rd. They shuffled Mayfield and Wallace before. Rusty tried his darndest to get back in line, but let's see what Gordon wants to do. He'll make the low side work. He led from lap 100 through 106.
You see Jarrett going with the 24 there as they go down the back straightaway. They should just move him right on back to about 5th or 6th spot before he gets back in line again.
So Kenny Irwin gets shuffled out of the exchange there. Gordon takes the lead, lap 122.
See Jeremy Mayfield there and Ward Burton in the 22. They're working a little bit together on the low side of Kenny Irwin. What a great car Kenny Irwin has, though. He pulls right over the deck into the 12 car Jeremy Mayfield.
What a smart job of driving that race car as well. Handled himself extremely well tonight, given his very limited drafting experience.
Here's Rusty Wallace a little while ago getting shuffled out of the draft. Nobody would let him in.
Not even his teammate.
There's certain things your teammate just can't do, and one of them back off when he sees a guy. See him move up, try to help him right there.
We're going to have caution on the speedway for a rain shower out of the corner.
Speedway. Caution out for rain in 3 and 4.
You hear the drivers being told by the spotters, caution for rain.
Think it's rain. Okay, the leader's got it.
And Rodney Wise, native of Delaware, atop the flag stand, and there you see some of the rain falling. Interestingly, in turn 3 and 4, the NASCAR officials in turn 1 and 2 saying that right now it's dry out that way. I remember one time, it's got to be 15, 16 years ago, and I was working for MRN Radio, and I was broadcasting on a tower out there in turn 3 and 4, as dry and as comfortable as could be. And Barney Hall, who still anchors on the MRN broadcast, he was working turns 1 and 2. And all day he kept going up and down his tower because the rain kept hitting in that one end of the speedway only, and then keep throwing the caution. And I never got a drop of rain down the other end of the back straightaway. And all day I just watched Barney going up and down the scaffold up. And thankfully that wasn't me. But so yeah, seeing rain at one end of the speedway is not unusual here at the World Center of Racing.
It's on our lens there as well. Yep, see it?
There you see now the rain coming over towards the main straightaway now. We had a little delay for rain back at lap 13. A caution came out for a lap or two. Lap 32, a multi-car accident on the back straightaway when Kevin LePage lost the car. Others involved were Rich Bickle, Jeff Green, Hutch Strickland, Johnny Benson was involved, Ted Musgrave, Jeff Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Wally Dallenbach. Then Dan Parda spun at lap 106. And now rain here at lap 122.
See them putting the tarps down there to keep the pit lanes as dry as they possibly can.
Of course, pit road is also open. Dale Earnhardt is going to make a stop. Also coming down the pit lane will be Joe Nemechek. So they'll pull those tarps quickly. Mike Hogwood, back to that nose they go.
Yeah, and Bobby Hutchins and Kevin Hamlin go back to work on it. They want to try to make this car perfect because Dale Earnhardt had shot back up through the field. He made it back up into the top 10 before this caution came out. And Dale's telling them, hey, you know, we still got time. We can do this thing if we get the car exactly right. So they're trying to get that nose perfect so that they can get it to go through the air absolutely the way Dale wants it to.
In the background, you see Brett Bodine's car with the hood up. He is in. Joe Nemechek is in. Wally Dallenbach in for service. The other teams, though, can go the distance. Again, if you're just joining us, when everybody stopped at lap 107 and lap 108, they took on tires. Those who chose to, they filled it up with 76 racing fuel, and they're all able to go the distance from there. But a light rain shower crossing the speedway here in Daytona. We're going to break away and take care of some business. More on TNN in just a moment. 1984 Firecracker 400, perhaps the most memorable of them all. Remember that one? Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough crossing under the flag stand. 3 laps to go. The yellow came out when Doug Hevron spun in turn number 1. Both of those veterans realized immediately that they were racing for the win right there. Cale Yarborough tried that old slingshot move. Made the pass in turn 3. Then Cale slides high, giving Richard Petty some running room again to come back and eventually grab that victory. by less than 1 foot. A thrilling day here at the World Center of Racing. Then, while they celebrated, Cale Yarborough unwittingly pulled down the pitch 1 lap early. The race wasn't over. They just raced back to the caution. Harry Gant comes in to finish second. And, of course, President Ronald Reagan on hand to honor the King in his 200th and final victory. And there's the King's car right now. John Andretti is 12th right now. The winner of this race a year ago when he led some 113 of the 160 laps. Now the field about to go back to work. They've gotten the 1 to go signal, this little rain shower having wound down.
Doctor, you see Kenny Irwin right there in the 28 car. He had problems. He made his pit stop and had to come back in. He had a left rear going flat.
Steve Burns has the story. Steve?
Yep, Eli, here's the tire. You can see right here inside the circle, just a small cut on the tire, the left rear tire of the 28. When he got shuffled out of the lead a little while ago, that's why the thing was starting to go flat. You can see there's very little pressure in it.
So that was the story on Kenny Irwin. The unscheduled stop drops him back to 19th position as the field forms up for the restart. Glad you're with us. Eli Gold, Dick Berggren, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Mike Hogwood, and the entire TNM Motorsports team. As for Dale Earnhardt, he's running on the lead lap at 22nd. Glenn, how are the repairs now?
Looks like they got it just right, Eli. They came back in every lap under that caution. Now he'll be at the tail end of the lead pack, but he has drafting partners. His teammate Mike Skinner came in for another adjustment. Also, Kenny Irwin, a good fast car, and Jeff Burton just came in and changed 4 tires. So he's got 3 good cars back there to help push him back to the front. Got some good guys to run with to come back up through the pack.
Well, we'll all find out together as the field gets set to go back to green after this little delay for a brief rain shower.
Just so you know. Easy first. 10-4, I will. About every 5 laps. Ready? Nice, smooth, ready.
Green, green, pass the
Green, green, green. Green flag. Green flag.
Sights and sounds of the World Center of Racing up to the lights with 30 laps to go to settle this Pepsi 400.
And it will be interesting to see if those cars in the back of the pack on the lead lap that took fresh tires are able to run the leaders down. They've got time.
You can see the obvious problem right now, though. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Sometimes they even try to make it 4 wide. Through the corners, of course, 2 wide. But right now, getting by everyone, that's the problem.
That's 13th on back. Spencer in 13th spot with the 3 wide scramble. And Freddie and Johnny Benson joining him. And Freddie's on the lead lap in the 43. Benson in that red 26 is not.
And that middle is not a comfortable place to be at all. Less so here even than Talladega.
Now Nadu in that yellow 9.
Oh.
Something left, and he and Spencer got together. Meanwhile, in 5th position on back. They'll shuffle Ward Burton out of the picture. And back again to 12th and 13th position. look like? Spencer and Nadeau. Bam.
Lightly touched there. You could see Spencer's car, the 23 there, the second car on the right there, getting really sideways off turn 2.
That could have been big. That could have been really big.
Up front, Jeff Gordon still shows the way. Everybody right there with him on the lead lap. This Pepsi 400 far from over. Sports Race Summary is sponsored by Budweiser. Average speed having dropped now with that slight caution for rain. 2 of the 4 caution periods have been for rain. And there you see those in the garage. You can also add to that list Kenny Wallace, who has taken his machine, and now Rich Bickle officially out for the evening. Glad you're with us here on TNN Motorsports. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from Mesa Marin Raceway, Bakersfield, California, also here on TNN. Middle of the field, Spencer's on the move in 14 with Earnhardt to his inside in 15. They'll swap that around a while. Those two love racing with each other. Chad Little, that's green and gold 97. That's a Thunderbird.
And you know, believe it or not, for the luck Jack Roush has had on the restrictor plate racetracks this year, the 3 races run so far, Chad Little has been his top driver in 2 out of the 3, his 7th and an 8th.
Kenny Irwin at the head of that pack right there. Second car in line now behind Skinner. Skinner's 12th. Irwin is at 13th. There's Chad Little. Up front, meanwhile, they're closing in on Gordon. This whole pack of traffic here now just 3 1/10 seconds behind Gordon. They were 4.5 seconds back a while ago. Wanted to break loose there on the low side of turn 4, didn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of going with one of those more aggressive setups in the car, and it's definitely white knuckle time.
And it's also a Thunderbird, as you said a while back, Eli. And those cars normally are great race cars in a race, but right now they're not faring too well, as you see Jimmy Spencer dropping another spot.
And there's the spread from that pack down what they call the super stretch, the back straightaway, up to Jeff Gordon. That's what 2.8 seconds looks like on this Daytona International Speedway.
Terry Labonte taking a look on the outside there in the 5 car. You see him on the high line there. His brother directly behind him. These guys are wanting to rumble right now.
You see that computer address. You can log on, get the onboard in-car pictures as we head towards the finish of this Pepsi 400. TNNRacing.com. Check it out. It's available to you on the World Wide Web right now. There's the rundown. Upper left of the screen. Trader hanging in. Ward Burton with a good run. Raven back up to 9th. And there's the, hey, brother, can you spare a draft?
Very good.
Neither one ever won here at Daytona.
Terry Labonte ahead of Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte has posted 3 top 10s in the last 4 races altogether.
Now we're watching the front group right here run nose to tail. Just behind them, Mark Martin. There's a little interval between these guys. He kind of broke away from them. Mark Martin and Mike Skinner now are coming up.
And realistically, if Martin can pull down a top 10 on a big track like this, I think he'll take it and head back to the house, please.
Oh, yeah. After the year he's had on the restrictor plate tracks.
You see him. He's begging them to stay in line. Don't make it too wide here. We're catching the leaders right now. You're looking back at Mike Skinner going into turn 3, keeping a very low line right down on the white line around the corner.
22 laps to settle it. Jeff Gordon took the lead at lap 122. We're now at lap 138. Still anybody's race. Back in a moment. The caution is out here at Daytona An accident on the back straightaway multi-car involving Spencer, Kenny Irwin, John Andretti, that man Steve Park, Jerry Nadeau, Ricky Rudd, among others. Irwin's car right there taking the worst of the lick. He was already talking to his crew on the radio. We were eavesdropping. Far from pleased, as you can expect. He had a super run going.
So disappointing to put your heart and soul into what you're doing and then have a problem.
That's Steve Park through the silhouette look. There's Spencer. You see the roof flap having deployed there.
Also, the right front corner has damage on it.
John Andretti got a piece of it.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Like John may have been hit from behind because the left rear quarter panel's been out just a little bit.
I told you Ricky Rudd was involved.
Stop in the box, buddy. You want that windshield tore off there? Got that for.
There's Ricky with the damaged nose of the Taurus. There's Jerry Nadeau. We mentioned he was involved.
A lot of damage to Nadeau's car.
Ricky Craven is also pitted for 4 tires. Oh, boy, look at that.
Wow.
And Scooby-Doo has seen better days.
The aerodynamics of that car could be improved severely.
Let's take a look at what happened to bring out this 5th caution. Irwin and Little.
Chad Little in the 97 got into the back there of the 28 just barely.
Looked like the 28 was trying to get by him. They were side by side when that all started, and it looked like 2 guys trying for the same spot.
Of course, remember, Steve Park has an onboard camera. Let's see what we can see here. He had nowhere to go, and he just took a shot.
Again.
Yeah.
And again. And again. And again.
Oh, man.
Steve Burns, Robert Yates, and those guys have to be crestfallen after the great run that Irwin was having.
Yeah, Eli and Robert Yates just watched the replays. First of all, have you talked to your driver, Kenny Irwin?
Yeah, he's okay. You know, he's certainly discussed it a little bit with what happened, but you know, he was getting ready to go with the 99 and pull up, and there was a gap, and by the time you know, he made his move to get up, you know, there wasn't enough room there, so something we learned. We'll be better next time. We had a good car, great car.
Tough break for Robert Yates.
They did have a great car. He said a mouthful right there. A tough break for Robert Yates Racing. Steve Park, they're going to bring that Pennzoil Chevy back towards the garage area. Attrition rate growing a bit now. Billy Standridge, Jeff Bodine, Kevin LePage, Hut Strickland, Rich Bickle, Derek Cope, Dan Pardis, Kenny Wallace, Kenny Irwin. You saw Steve Park, and there's Dale Earnhardt back in again, Mike Hogwood.
Well, that nose that they put on, it's taped on, and it keeps caving in a little bit. You see him going back to work on it. They're going to try to put some bolts in it and to give it a little more stability. Dale Earnhardt says the car is great as they put 4 new tires on it. Now it's a question of time. Does he have enough time to move back up through the field?
I can tell you one thing he does have. He has an advantage having fresh tires on that race car. If that nose does not cave back in, you can see how flimsy it is as he hits it with his hand there, trying to get the tape to really stick well on that front part of Dale Earnhardt's car.
There's not a lot of structural integrity in tape, though. And it just, oh, it's real wobbly.
Hey, you guys have any pets at home?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have 2 wonderful dogs.
I've seen your shop dog. We've got a dog and a cat. Well, Bill France Jr., I think, has us all beat. A Clydesdale. And it's also sharing his name. Take a look at this.
For all of those 50 years, the France family has stood as a symbol of character, strength, determination, and leadership of NASCAR. Bill, on behalf of Budweiser, it is my pleasure to present to you your namesake, Bill Jr., a 4-month-old Clydesdale foal. Bill, congratulations.
Thank you, Tony. And when we first discussed the
naming the horse, Bill Jr., first thought through my mind was, and I've seen the Clydesdales before, is how much, and be careful, how much they eat. Thank you very much.
So you ever hear the one? You heard the one about the horse? You know the one about the horse walking into the bar. Bartender said, "Hey, buddy, why the long face?"
Oh, I heard that. Indeed.
I shouldn't have said buddy. I should have picked up another thing.
Yeah. That is a beautiful little horse.
That's not a little horse. Those Clydesdales, I mean, that was 4 months old, the size of a normal horse.
Very diplomatic, I thought, too.
And then there's Glenn Jarrett, who I'm sure wants to jump in on this scintillating discussion.
Well, I'm not going to jump on the horse, but you know, I did have a pet until about 60 laps ago.
Was that your...
That was Louis. That was Louis the Lizard, and he's gone.
Well, it's a tough life. It's a tough life. We're at lap 144 of 160. The Pepsi 400 down to its final laps. Don't you dare leave us. We're back in a moment. Summary is sponsored by Texaco. 16 lead changes among Jarrett and Earnhardt and Wallace and Marcus and Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte. Jeff Burton has led. So too has Kenny Irwin. Those drivers all done for the night. From early engine failure for Billy Standridge to Derek Hope tagging the wall to engine failures. That is the attrition list here in the Pepsi 400 at the World Center of Racing. Next week, Phoenix International Raceway. The Winston Cup Series will be there, and so too will we. Then on to the North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And again, TNN Motorsports will be there. Then the season winds down at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's amazing. Seems like we were just here for Speed Weeks, doesn't it? I mean, this year just flies by.
And they go by faster and faster, it seems, as time goes by.
Yeah, the older you get, the quicker it goes.
Yeah, it's true. Meanwhile, Earnhardt is pitted yet again.
Earnhardt, they're working on his car. Reason we're under caution, again, this is what happened back at lap 140. Panning ahead to Kenny Irwin right there with Chad Little.
Just about had him cleared.
Almost.
John Andretti gets tagged there, turned to the infield. You could see the dirt fly.
Steve Park tags the wall.
Remember what Earnhardt said about the helmet, about how he can feel the air? Well, that would help you in a situation like this, knowing when you're by.
He was the first car by that wreck on the low side there. Bill Elliott sneaks by.
Dave Marcus got through. Dave's running 24th with a Richard Childress power plant and the Real Tree machine. And again, Steve Park's view.
Ow.
He never saw him, but he hit that 28 head on.
Meanwhile, Kenny Irwin's just come from the infield care center. Mike Hogwood, you hate to see it in this situation. What a great run he had going.
A super run. Kenny, maybe your best run of the year going, and I know you're heartbroken at the way it ends here.
Man, we just, you know, we had I don't know if we had a winning car, but we definitely had a top running car. We had to lead some laps, and then we cut a left rear tire down and had to pit. But, you know, that's, you know, it's fun running up front. It's just too bad we got in that altercation off of 2.
What happened?
I just thought I was clear and moved up, and I just didn't give the 97 anywhere to go. And I just, you know, I'm real sorry for everybody that got involved in that deal.
Well, Kenny Irwin, one of the bright young drivers. We saw a glimpse, I think, of his potential here tonight.
No doubt about it. We've seen him from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and move on towards NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. He's, of course, getting down to finish it here. Final 14 laps. Drafting is going to be the story. We'll see exactly who pairs off with whom as they get set to go. Fans have loved this entire weekend. Not a seat to be had. They've got 6,000 new seats being built on the Winston Tower. They'll be ready for Speed Weeks 1999. All right.
You ready?
Here we go.
Okay, pace car is in. Green flag, green flag.
Johnny Benson not on the lead lap. He's in 22nd, the first car allowed now.
We'll see what Dale Jarrett can do now. He has looked as if he's got the strongest car in the field for quite a while now. Here's his chance.
Well, it's Gordon in the Chevrolet and 3 Fords just behind him.
And Kenny Schrader in another Chevrolet.
And with a Pontiac from Bobby Labonte. Burke's there as well. You know, it used to be that slingshot move was the way to go. Of late on the big tracks, it seems as though you want to be out front.
Slingshot just doesn't seem to even work anymore.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out, because every once in a while you'll have 2 or 3 cars work together and they can overhaul the leader, as Dale Jarrett was done about midway of the race, just after he led halfway.
Look at this.
Look at them just flanking out 3 wide on the back straightaway.
Look on the inside of Mike Skinner.
Jarrett gets stuffed back, and he will lose 8, 9 positions there.
Eli, look at the 31 of Mike Skinner moving into 4th place there. He was flying down the back.
Something's got to be wrong for Dale Jarrett, guys. He's going straight back. Glenn, what's the story on your brother's car?
Eli's got a flat tire. He's coming in. He's got to come in. So he's got a flat tire, so he'll be in this time. The crew's on the wall. Don't know yet which one it is, but tough break.
I don't know what it is, Sergeant.
There you see MCI presenting NASCAR timing and scoring. Tough break for Jarrett. What a break. A tough break for Robert Yates Racing.
You want to talk about a car on the move. The 3 car there of Earnhardt. He is flying up to there. Kind of caught up in traffic right now behind Sterling Marlin.
That's 15th and 16th, Marlin and Earnhardt. Spencer still on the lead lap at 18th. That's that red and white number 23.
It's more than a bit frightening when these green flags come out and all these cars are so close together.
So Dale Jarrett will not make it 2 wins in as many weeks, losing the left front tire that was cut down as he now makes his way to pit road. Look how close this racing is.
Mark Martin looking right in the back quarter panel there of Terry Labonte in front of him. You see Ricky Craven in the 36 just to the left there in that wild paint job.
He made several pit stops on that caution flag. Skinner very aggressive at this point in the race. Did they just touch?
And if they didn't miss for much.
Jeremy Mayfield sitting there in second right now. He's thinking about maybe making a move right now. I think they're trying to break away from this group running side by side just behind them.
9 to go. No friends, no teammates now. Every man for himself.
Jarrett in 20th spot after the unscheduled pit stop. Ted Musgrave goes to the garage. His day is done. And the drafting is going to tell the story of how this Pepsi 400 plays out. It's a key element. We asked some of the top drivers in that pack how they're going to handle it.
So you make your friends throughout the day, and there is a degree of loyalty, but you know, there's only so much loyalty that you can have to anyone.
It's every man for himself, and you can only help each other for so long, and then you got to go do what you got to do.
You go in saying, hey, I'm going to try to work with you as much as I can, but I can't control every situation that happens out there. But then when it comes down to 5 or 10 to go, we're all on our own. And that's kind of what we saw at Talladega, and I'm sure we'll see the same thing here.
And I dare say we will. We've got fireworks planned after the race. Let's see what kind of fireworks we have as the race winds down.
Spencer was 3 wide again on the backstretch. He was on the bottom of that thing.
Earnhardt all the way up to 14th from dead last. He was the last car in that group right there. You see him looking over the back panels there. Mark Martin down into the corner they go.
Look at the coach. Look at Spencer going inside of Bobby Hamilton. All of that is for position here. Hamilton in the Kodak car in 13th. Spencer in 14th. He'll pass them both. He'll pass Hamilton and Earnhardt.
Well, Earnhardt, you can see the tape on the nose of that car. Still does not have it like he wants it.
5-car Labonte, that's 8th spot.
Mark, back. Caution for rain. There's a rain shower again in turns 3 and 4. Caution on the speedway. Here they come to the straight. Lap 154 goes up on the board of 160. Caution for another rain shower here at the World Center of Racing, the third little shower we have seen here. This is now 5 laps from the finish.
It's not got a lot of time to quit raining for everybody behind that 24 car.
Stick around. Rain is intensifying. 5 laps from the finish of the Pepsi 400. Fourth, 1981, Harry Gant was looking for his first NASCAR Winston Cup win. He held the point for 22 laps. Leading up to the final trip down the backstretch, Cale Yarborough again using an old slingshot move to push his Buick into the lead. And on to victory lane, relegated Harry Gant to his 7th second-place finish in 17 super speedway starts. Well, we are under a red flag here at Daytona. They have put the red flag out some 37 seconds ago for rain, with 5 laps remaining to settle the Pepsi 400. Buddy, you're sitting there going, my goodness, I mean, what a night. What do these guys feel like now?
Well, can you believe it? 5 laps to go. Jeff Gordon saying, hey, it's never going to quit raining. He's leading the race. Of course, everyone behind him saying they did the right thing, believe me. Stop it right now. Give everybody a shot at this win.
Through Jeff's windshield, looking forward, you can see a crew member from every team coming out. They stopped the cars off of turn 4. And NASCAR is allowing 1 crew member from each team to go out there and do nothing but cover the car, cover the windshield, and if the driver so desires, get out of the race car.
Eli, you can see right on the front of Gordon's car. Now they're going to cover it up, but the first thing they wanted to make sure is water didn't run in the backside of the air cleaner there. This part right in there where they had that little deal on there, you see they covered that up so water couldn't run down into the carburetor area.
So the red flag is out as part of the 3rd caution of the day, brought out by rain. Crew chiefs now have to just wait it out with everybody. Not a heavy storm, as you see, but rain nevertheless. Glenn, it's frustrating sometimes, isn't it?
Well, it is. All they can do is wait now. I've moved down to Jeremy Mayfield's pit and going to talk to Paul Andrews. Paul, you guys were awfully strong here in February. You got a good race car, but, man, you got Chevys in front of you and Chevys behind you.
It's all right. We got a teammate behind us, too, you know. It's going to be dog-eat-dog world here in a few minutes, you know, when they drop this green. Hopefully we get to go, and I'd like to finish on the green. I'm sure everybody else would, too. You know, but that's all right. We're up here. We got, you know, we kind of the 6 of us broke away. I'm sure once we drop this off here, it won't be 6. It'll be like probably 26. But, you know, we're going to have a good finish no matter what.
One more quick question. Have you talked about when to make the move?
Not yet. I mean, that's what we're getting ready to do right now while everything's kind of calmed down here.
Okay, let's go further down pit road.
Okay, Glenn, we've got Ray Evernham here. Ray, first of all, what is this going to do to your race car?
Get it wet.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
You know, as long as it doesn't get in the motor, it seems to have blown over already, and really shouldn't do anything. You know, hopefully motor, everything will be fine. You know, when you shut them off, sometimes it's not good, but you know, with the lower compression, everything's been real good.
All right, so how about the driver? Have you talked to that guy?
Yeah, he's doing a real good job. You know, he's got a bunch of guys on his butt there that are looking to get by him, and it's going to be tough. Always is tough on a restart, but he's doing a real good job for us.
Ray, I was looking at the stats before the race, and you guys have put up some unbelievable numbers. 16 consecutive top 5 finishes, and your average finish has been 2nd in that streak.
Yeah, you know, we've got a great driver, and we've got a great race team, but we've had a lot of great luck too, and I just hope it holds out tonight. You know, no matter how good you are, you've got to have that luck factor in there. And you know, like last week, you know, I'd like to tell you that we had a real great day and we were a big part of it, but all we were was prepared when other people had bad luck, and we had good luck, and hopefully we can have some more good luck and get this finish tonight nice and safe.
All right, it looks like we can put those umbrellas away. It's quit raining down here, guys.
That's certainly good news right there. I have finally figured it out. I have figured out who Jeremy Mayfield looks like with his platinum blonde hair. He looks like Dolph Lundgren, the actor in one of those Rocky movies, like Rocky 97 or whatever the heck it was.
That's Peter Suspenzo right there on the right-hand side, just walked out. You see his hair is exactly the same color. As a matter of fact, everybody on that crew looks the same way.
Well, they decided to dye the hair before he won at Pocono, and then after he won at Pocono, he thought about maybe changing the color of it, but Jeremy left it alone, and then when he didn't win again, it went to white.
Now, what are they talking about? Are they making deals? They telling jokes? They comparing notes?
You see this guy right here? That's Kenny Schrader. It cannot mean much if he's in on it. Believe me, he likes to start stuff with everybody. Right now, he's telling them, boys, I got you. I believe he'll go back under the green.
Skinner says, I don't want to listen. Jeff Gordon says, I've heard it all before. Rusty says, I don't believe what's going on here. And Schrader's still talking. We're back with more from the World Center of Racing in just a moment as the Pepsi 400, for the first time under the lights, is now also under some raindrops. You see the red flag for rain, light rain, but enough to put a temporary halt on this Pepsi 400, just literally a handful of laps away from the finish. The man who is leading this event has led many a race this year. He, of course, is Jeff Gordon, who most recently took the lead at lap 123. And what a year for Jeff Gordon. 20 top 5 finishes in the last 21 races. 23 top 5s in 1998. And the wins just keep on coming. And tonight, he passed Dale Jarrett, took the lead. He moved around Dale Earnhardt and took the lead. He bypassed Kenny Irwin at lap 123 and took the lead that he still holds. He has led 43 laps tonight. There you see those who have won the Pepsi 400, gone on to win the NASCAR Winston Cup title in the same year. Of course, Jeff has also picked up 5 more points now. He's led the most laps today, 43 of those to Earnhardt's 41. As we wait out this little rain delay. There is the guy they call the cat in the hat, Jack Roush.
I want to straighten out a little thing that was said on a broadcast earlier. And everybody knows that Jack Roush and the Hendricks bunch had a little problem midway of the season this year. But Jack Roush, this hat was reported to me that somebody had a $500 bounty on that hat. They wanted to put it on the Indian there in the shop. Jeff Gordon, that's incorrect. That was told to me by a guy that works on another team that was trying to stir up problems. And there was no truth to it.
Well, we're glad we're able to straighten that out here this evening as Jack Roush looks out and waits out the rain delay. Richard Childress and Larry McReynolds talking things over. Strategies playing out in the final few laps of the Pepsi 400. And Jarrett, Steve Burns, and the Hog, Mike Hogwood, down on the pit lane, following all the racing action. And right now, the track drying. There's a guy you'll be seeing on this same station again tomorrow. Larry McReynolds is going to be heading to Nashville for some coverage for TNN Motorsports. Let's get a word with him.
Yeah, but before he heads to Nashville, he's going to try to get his driver into victory lane here tonight. What's the plan here, Lake?
Well, you know, there is no plan. You know, we're going to probably have 2 or 3 laps of racing, Mike. And I went through the wheeling and dealing last week at Talladega, and that didn't work. So it's like the heck with everybody. We're going to do what we got to do here, and hopefully we'll pick the right hole and the right line to go with. You know, a while ago I was thinking there's this little part of me. It's like, Self, you really struggled tonight, the middle part of the race. You're sitting there third. Maybe it ought to just keep raining, but you know what? We come here to win this race, and if we win this thing or run third or we end up 8th, we're going to go down swinging on this thing.
One thing I noticed is you just made Richard Childress a Lowe's crew member on the 31 car.
Well, you know, he wanted to go talk to Mike, and they're only letting 1 crew member per car down there, so I, you know, orientate him. You're now a crew member of the Lowe's team, so we let him go down there and talk to Mike. You know, Richard's seen a lot of situations, his years as a driver and as a car owner, and I think he's just got some things he wants to say to Mike and tell him here with probably a 3-lap shootout.
Larry McReynolds, Richard Childress are going to do their best to get Mike Skinner into victory lane.
Now, while that serious stuff goes on and the drivers share a thought or two, let's move on to the social calendar of the air. When last we saw Tony Lumley, he was contemplating marriage. Glenn Jarrett, as always, is in the middle, helping orchestrate it all.
Well, Eli, I don't normally get involved in matters of the heart. You know that I've avoided marriage like the plague, but
certainly.
Tony Lumley, he's the tire specialist on the 18-car of Bobby Labonte, has decided that he wants to marry Jennifer Nix. Jennifer, in Concord, North Carolina, if you're looking, this guy wants to take you for his lawfully wedded wife. Tony, I just have one question. Man, are you sure about this?
She's my best friend.
She's his best friend. Well, Tony, I got a best friend. I don't want to marry her.
Well, that's a good thing, Glenn, because I sure want to marry my best friend.
Well, it's a good thing I don't want to marry my best friend because, Eli, that's you.
You talk about strange bedfellows. There is a classic example. Well, the drivers are talking things over. There's Larry McReynolds' crew member there in the middle, Richard Childress, talking to Mike Skinner. Track drying is underway. We're close to resuming and seeing the final few laps of the Pepsi 400 play out. Sports coverage of the Pepsi 400. The action broke loose lap 32. Kevin LePage lost control of his car coming off the number 2 corner. Caught up a number of drivers, including Wally Dallenbach, who found the wall on the back straightaway. Lap 106, Daytona Beach's own Dan Pardis in his Winston Cup debut had problems. Then Kenny Irwin tried to get back in line. Didn't give Chad little enough room at lap number 140 and triggered that multi-car accident. Steve Hart got caught up in it as well. And you are now caught up to date on the Pepsi 400 here at the World Center of Racing. Delayed by a rain shower. We had rain at lap 13 with a very brief caution for 3 laps. We had rain again at lap 122 that stopped the action for 4 laps while the track dried. But this time around at lap 155, the rain is a little bit too intense, and they have to park the cars, bring out the jet dryers that you hear whirring in the background, and we will be set to play out the final 5 laps here in just a short while. Jeff Gordon is the race leader. Most recently took over the top spot at lap 123 and has not looked back since. And let's see how everybody's looking at it. Chevy, Ford, couple of Pontiacs. No clear-cut domination here tonight.
Pretty good parity, I'd say. You can see all the cars very, very... I want to give a call to Ward Burton. He's done a great job of keeping himself right up in there. Bill Davis and Ward Burton have done a great job. Finished second in Charlotte. Now look at him right up there in contention.
New crew chief Tommy Baldwin, and Bill Davis says that what he has brought to that operation is a ton of enthusiasm, and Ward Burton's got a lot of confidence in him and wants to prove himself to the new crew chief, and Tommy Baldwin wants to get the job done there as well, and they've had a string of good runs.
The pace car now has Rusty Wallace along as a rider to take a up-close look at drying conditions here. Track visually looks as though it is dry. Of course, normally if it's wet, it gets the dark color, and the light gray indicates it's pretty well dry. See Rusty there riding with Buster Auten. Buster behind the wheel, and you can just make out Rusty's driving suit.
They did the same thing last night.
Now he's getting out and really put his hand right down on the racing surface and say, yeah, maybe. Well,
either that or he found a penny and he dropped it.
No,
he's saying in all seriousness, he's making sure that the track is bone dry. Of course, they have the jet dryers. So, and clearly we have lights, so there's no rush to get this race in. It will be run to its conclusion here tonight. Of course, back in 1996, the Pepsi 400 was shortened by rain. Coming up tomorrow on TNN Motorsports, the NASCAR. There is Ken Schrader, 5th in the running order right now in the Skoal Bandit Chevrolet. He runs well on the big tracks, but he's not had a smooth year, certainly. Talladega, April, had a problem. Pocono in June, tangled with Dale Earnhardt. Loudon, August, Rusty Wallace and Schrader got together. It's been that kind of a year for the Skoll bunch, but he's having a good night tonight.
He is having a great run tonight, and Kenny Schrader probably wins as many races as anyone. He hadn't won since 1991, as we well know, but let me tell you, anytime he crawls through a window of any race car, this guy could win, and he loves this racetrack, so I wouldn't count him out by any means yet.
No, he hasn't won Winston Cup since 1991, but he sure has won a whole lot of other stuff, including a big race out in Phoenix at the Copper Classic. He's got a Winston West win, whole bunch of wins on the dirt tracks as well. He has amassed one of the more enviable records of all of the currently active race drivers.
Boy, this looks good.
Yeah,
well, no, now it...
they went to the started to go to the cars.
Steve Peterson now says, Dale, don't do that and tell the guys to get into the cars. It's not time yet, but it is going to hang out down there. And
well, one of the things that's going to help us get this thing going is we've got a very good wind blowing tonight, and Steve's waving them on now. The flags are right out straight, and that'll help drive this big speedway up quickly.
Eli, as hard as it did rain, there was heat in the racing surface.
Right.
That always helps to dry it.
Others now all dried up. Fans have taken off their rain gear. There's Bobby Labonte getting set to get back to work in the Interstate Batteries machine. He's running in 7th right now, and of course this year has been a good one for that driver from Texas. April 26th of this season, Talladega Superspeedway. Bobby Labonte goes to victory lane. He'll try and duplicate that here today if he can from 7th spot. You see how he has done. You can tell very vividly the ups and downs. Not a good weekend in California. Charlotte was not good, but very few low spots.
Well, you point out Charlotte. Yes, he wrecked there, but you know he was going for the lead and got in some oil there and backed the car into the wall.
See Bobby climbing aboard the car now. Hopefully we're closing in on the restart and the final 5 laps of the Pepsi 400. Don't go away. We're back in a moment.
No.
With Buddy Baker and Dick Berggren, I'm Eli Gold, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Mike Hogwood down on the pit lane and in the garage. So what's going to happen? There you see the big numbers. 154 complete of 160. 24 Gordon, 12 Mayfield, 31 Skinner, 2 Wallace, and 33 Schrader. Glenn Jarrett, I'm sure, has been mingling with the crew members down on the pit lane. Have you come up with the definitive of what's going to happen?
Yeah, guys, listen up. Let me explain something.
All right. Take out your pencil and papers at home. There'll be a quiz.
Take notes, fans. No, seriously, here's what I think is going to happen. I mean, Paul Andrews just told me that Jeremy's car is better on the bottom of the racetrack, but there's no way under the sun. Oh, well, the sun's not out. There's no way under all these lights that Jeff Gordon's going to give anybody the bottom of the racetrack. They're going to have to make their move to the outside. So when Jeremy moves up there, Rusty's going to go with him. But immediately Mike Skinner's going to go down to the bottom and put his nose to Gordon, and I think that's how the thing's going to wind up. You'll see those 2 Chevys and those 2 Fords. Chevys on the inside, Fords on the outside. I've made my statement, my stand in the desert. What do you think, buddy?
Well, one thing about it, I know enough about Winston Cup racing that nobody knows, including those guys that are lining up to restart this race. But I will tell you this, I don't think it'll be nose to tail the last 3 laps here. I think you're going to see people do things that you hadn't seen on Major Speedway this whole year.
Other thing you got to figure, too, here, it'll be 155 when they come to the stripe. They'll go at least a lap. Then it takes you really 2 good laps to get up to full speed. So you'll probably have 1 lap at flat-out speed to settle it.
This is just an observation. Who has the best restarts of all race teams that you remember?
Earnhardt's team over the years.
There you have it.
Yep.
They have a good ratio as far as on restarts. Mike Skinner's sitting there. I think he's going to make a real move at it.
Skinner's in 3rd. Earnhardt himself running in 12th. We'll talk about more of the strategies when we come back. We'll hear from the crew chiefs and a lot more, so don't go away. They're waiting for somebody in victory lane. We'll all find out who together in a moment.
T.
A track drying now winding towards a conclusion. We have been under the red flag for 31 minutes and 25 seconds. Red brought out because of the third rain shower of the evening. Jeff Gordon leading this Pepsi 400 at the time of the red flag, trying to become the first defending NASCAR Winston Cup champ to win this race since 1975 when that guy did it. Richard Petty, alongside guy who's been a lot of long hours here of late, Robbie Loomis, crew chief.
We're keeping you up, aren't we,
John
Robbie?
Andretti.
Sorry, wake-up calls tomorrow morning.
Jack Roush, meanwhile, talking things over. Just waiting out this rain delay. Glenn Jowett's down on pit road. Watching. Ray Evernham is there as well. Glenn, what are these crew chiefs saying? Do they just say at this point it's up to the drivers? They have no input?
Well, no, they're still talking about it, Eli. But the question I have, we're talking about, they stopped the cars down at turn 4. And what Paul Andrews and the guys up here are talking about is, will NASCAR let the cars come by once they feel the racetrack is safe to race on, and give them one to go then? So they only come by one time. Next time they come by, they go green. That gives us, what, 4 full laps of green flag racing? So, everybody's debating everything down here right now because nobody really knows what's going on.
Right, Paul Andrews there. There's Jeremy Mayfield's wife, Christine, looking on as everybody just kind of waits, and we'll get the start and the finish here very, very quickly. Felix Sabates, the owner of Team Sabco.
Arguing with the officials? No,
No.
Felix can't be doing that. Just a discussion about cigars, I'm sure.
Tony Glover on the right of the screen.
That's Tony right there.
That's Tony right there. Now, it will be 5 to go when the field does come by.
The one thing you can be sure of this finish, it is going to be wild. That is an absolute guarantee that this is going to be something else. Who's going to win it? Huh.
No sure shot right now. I mean, Gordon's strong, but
they're going to be all over him.
I wonder where Schrader comes into the mix, too. What are you guessing, buddy?
I'm going to say the winner will come right in that
Another unsolicited testimonial right there for the strength of this field. Again, if you're just joining us, Billy Standridge left the race early with engine failure. Jeff Bodine and Kevin LePage. Hut Strickland caught up in an accident. Rich Bickle likewise. Derek Cope tagged the wall. Dan Partis spun off the corner. Kenny Wallace went to the garage. Kenny Irwin involved in an accident. Steve Park likewise. Ted Musgrave parked his machine a short while ago. We had rain at lap 13 for the first caution of the day. Then the big accident on the back straightaway at lap 32. Dan Partis spun off turn 2 at lap 106. Then rain again. Then on the back straightaway, you had 6 cars tangling on lap 140. And then rain yet again, lap 155, bringing us to this position right here under the red flag. Now, the pit road will be closed when the field restarts here. So no one will be able to come down and make a stop. You'll see that official right there display the red flag. They will bring the field down pit road, but they can't stop. Anyone who chooses to stop, the rule is that you, of course, have to go to the tail end of the longest line of traffic. As far as the points are concerned, that's how they run at this very moment. Jeff Gordon trying to put this baby away before they even get to Atlanta at season's end.
Yeah, he picks up some more points tonight, as it is at the moment, but this isn't over yet.
Big spread right there. The day began with 288 points between first and second. We mentioned earlier the new seats are building along with the Winston Tower here. There's a look at those seats. 6,000 fans will be lucky enough to be sitting there come February, and hopefully you'll be one of those as well. These racetracks just continue to grow, and they continue to sell out. What a remarkable story.
And one of the nice things about some of the new seats that they're putting up here for fans, not for corporations, for fans, is that they're going to have a lot more comfortable facilities for fans than some of the open seats that you've seen here. You're going to be able to have in-your-seat food service and that kind of thing. John Graham, the president of the Speedway, was talking to everybody the other night about what they're doing and really picking up the pace here at Daytona Speedway, leading the way in spectator comfort.
There's DW right there. Darrell's first Winston Cup start. The Winston 500 at Talladega in 1972. So that translates to tonight being his 750th career NASCAR Winston Cup start. For the record, Richard Petty has started 1,185 and Dave Marcus 845. But old DW right there, third in the longevity department.
Do you think he's got a TV in there? The minute we started showing, he waved to us. I just wonder.
Yeah, somebody said on the radio probably, "You're on TV, wave, Darrell." And he did just that. Well, the field now is going to begin rolling off as this red flag will conclude some 37 minutes and 10 seconds after it started. Again, no one can stop as they come down pit road. If you do choose to do so, you will have to restart at the tail end of the longest line of traffic. Again, there's that flag signifying that the pit lane is closed. Talk about having a great seat for a race.
You know, this is a very tense time for these guys. The cars have sat there. They cooled off. You hope you didn't get a valve maybe starting to bend just a little bit because it runs under a lot of temperature here. When you shut them down, if it's open just a little bit, it could crinkle it just a little bit.
We saw some valve spring problems last week at Talladega.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you hope you don't, as you refire it, you don't foul a plug. There's a lot of things that go through these drivers' minds as they refire to go again.
Well, they're going to fire them up and get back to work to settle the Pepsi 400. Just 5 laps to go. We'll be back with the restart from the World Center of Racing. Stay with us. We're back in a moment. Pit road will open should anybody choose to make a stop. Jerry Nadeau has already come down pit road. He was the last car on the lead lap. Might as well come in anyway. Jeremy Mayfield is in second place. Every single fan has stayed here at Daytona Beach, Florida. We have had a rain delay 3 times tonight. 2 were quickies. This last one, though, was a red flag for nearly 40 minutes. But it has not dampened anything in the enthusiasm department. There's Mark Martin. He's in 10th.
See him put it up in 3rd gear there. That's to keep from fouling out spark plugs. You don't want to make it run too light around here. Maybe foul out a plug.
Bobby Labonte is in 7th. You see Ward Burton ahead of him in 6th. And Jeff Gordon, the race leader, right behind Buster Auten. Now remember, too, we are inside 10 laps to go. NASCAR has a 10-lap rule. Only the drivers on the lead lap can start near the front, and it will be a single file restart. So the 20 drivers on the lead lap will be able to battle it out amongst themselves to settle the 1998 Pepsi 400. Sterling Marlin and Bobby Hamilton will pit.
Think about all the months of preparation for these 4 restrictor plate races. In this one, it's going to come down to just a few laps to decide who's going to win it. Sterling going with 4 fresh tires.
Bobby Hamilton. 4 tires from the Kodak crew.
Might as well.
Nothing to lose.
Nope. They were both at the tail end.
Mayfield in 2nd. There's Mike Skinner. Could be the wild card in all of this. He has not led tonight. There's Rusty Wallace. He led early. Ken Schrader has not led, nor is Ward Burton. Bobby Labonte, he has led a couple of times. His brother Terry Labonte has not. Super run for Ricky Craven and Ernie Irvin's car. after Ernie started the race, but yielded to Craven at lap 14. Jeff Burton, Chad Little, all on the lead lap, 14th and 15th.
Eli, as they come down for the restart here, there's one thing you can't do with the car on the lead there as they come down for the green flag. You have to pass on the outside. You can't go under a guy to pass him at the start-finish line.
Follow the 40. That's correct. You're okay right there.
They're just talking to Bobby Hamilton and Sterling Marlin. The crowd has been eating it up all evening long. We're set to settle it. Buster Otten will pull off the pace car.
Get ready. It'll be 3 to go when you get to green. 3 to go. Okay, pace car's in. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. 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 Green flag. Green flag.
3 laps to settle the Pepsi 400. It takes them nearly 2 full laps to get up to speed.
Skinner had dropped back a bit, a good bit of distance between himself and Jeremy Mayfield on that start.
But he'll make it up in this corner, because there's one thing, when you're building up speed, you can really pull back on a car. You give a little distance like that. As you see, he's pulled into less than a half a car left. Back here, they're battling side by side.
Bobby Labonte and his brother Terry.
And it's bump drafting 200 miles an hour down the back straightaway.
Mayfield, who won his first time ever at Pocono earlier this year on TNN, trying to duplicate it. Schrader works the low side in 5th place.
Those cars running side by side. We're going to have a breakaway up front.
Yep, those 3 cars, those 4 cars up front are going to just take off if they keep racing side by side back there.
2 laps to go. Gordon from the Hendrick bunch. Mayfield. And Martin riding in 9th. But Mayfield and Wallace up front, their teammates, as Earnhardt goes 3 wide. And Jeff Burton makes the move in 14th spot.
Whoa!
Earnhardt got lost the back of the car.
Nearly 3 wide into that turn.
With Mark Martin in 9th. Out of turn 4. White flag.
Whoa, you see Jeremy looking to the inside. Couldn't make the move. Skinner looks to the high side right now. They're trying everything. Gordon's running by the mirror right now.
Here comes
Labonte
Skinner.
has caught him, and so is Terry Labonte. Side by side behind Gordon.
Right now they're running side by side. Jeff Gordon saying, I love it. He'll try to run in the middle part of the racetrack so one car does not get a great run down the back straightaway.
They mix it up again behind Gordon. Mayfield. Here comes Bobby Labonte to the outside.
What a move on the high side, making it 3 wide into turn 3. Bobby Labonte looks like he has the car to beat.
Bobby Labonte is there. Out of 4, they're coming to the checkers. Trouble in the back of the pack. The lead and the win. Gordon, for the 11th time, he wins. Chad Little taps the wall as he broke out of traffic near the back of the field. The 40th career victory and the 11th win of 1998 goes to Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. Holding off the challenge of Bobby Labonte, who finishes 2nd. Mike Skinner 3rd. Jeremy Mayfield 4th. Rusty Wallace will finish 5th. 6th goes to Bobby Labonte. 7th is Ward Burton. Ricky Craven will finish 8th. Schrader got shuffled back to 9th. And 10th goes to Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon is an 11-time winner this year. Steve Burns is with his crew chief, Ray Evernham.
Well, Ray, you looked awfully calm on top of that pit box. What a finish.
Well, you can't do nothing but want to thank God first for giving us the opportunity to do this, and really want to thank all the people, all the firefighters, and all the people that worked so hard to get this place back in shape for us and saved it. And you know, thank DuPont and Pepsi and Quaker State and that guy driving that car. He's really awesome. And in case all the news media is talking, it's October and we've won a race.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They have gotten the win. Meanwhile, Chad Little, you see him right there, took a mean lick. He shot out of traffic and impacted the inside wall exiting turn 4. The third Daytona win for Jeff Gordon. He won the 1997 Daytona 500, the 1995 and 1998 Pepsi 400s. It's the 14th Chevrolet win of the year and the 17th consecutive top 5 finish. That is the most in the modern era of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Mike Skinner comes home third, a superb run, and there you see the NASCAR inspectors checking out the angle of the rear spoilers. They do that before anybody gets to the car.
Exactly right. When they pat you on that trunk lid and say, go ahead, you're okay, you know you didn't run the whole night for free.
It's got to be 45 degrees. Anything less than that, and you're in trouble.
For Jeff Gordon, it is his 4th restrictor plate win in his 24th restrictor plate race. And for that young man from Vallejo, California, by way of Pittsboro, Indiana, the hits just keep on coming. Closing in on yet another NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship. His point lead is now 358. That means he only needs to finish 37 or better in the last 3 races, no matter what Mark Martin does. 37th or better. And Jeff Gordon would have his 3rd championship in the last 4 years. Glenn Jarrett is down in victory lane as the Pepsi 400 has gone to Jeff Gordon. Glenn?
And Eli, Jeff is unbuckling his safety belts and harness there, putting on the cap. Jeff, it was exciting there. I know you were watching that rearview mirror and awfully glad to see those guys going side by side on that last lap.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Usually when they get side by side, somebody breaks away and comes after you, and Bobby almost did that. I just got to say thank you to all the guys at the engine shop. Charlie Seegers, Randy Dort, and Chuck Utoon's on it, and all the guys back at Hendrick Engines. These last couple of weeks have been the best restrictor plate engines I've ever had. And this DuPont Chevrolet has just been awesome. I want to thank God. Boy, he certainly directed me and guided me all through traffic today. And that last restart, I'm sure he was riding with me.
Jeff, another giant step toward that 3rd championship.
I just want everybody to know this is October, baby. Everybody said we couldn't win in October. And, you know, we just tried to think, hey, this is a July race in October. And I tell you what, it was just a phenomenal effort by everybody this weekend. My hat's off to Ray Evernham. He just tuned the car perfect. I mean, this thing handled like a dream. Great pit stops by the Rainbow Warriors. And I want to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes, Quaker State. This is a Pepsi race. I want to thank them. This is a big day for all of us. And this Monte Carlo right here was awesome.
You took the lead with a lot of laps to go when you came out on that last pit stop there. Did you guys discuss that? Was that what you wanted to do? Get out front and make them pass you?
Well, I think that's just when our fuel window was. I don't think we were getting very good fuel mileage. I think we would like to have come in with a few more guys. But as it turned out, you know, it worked out for us. You know, Jeremy and I worked together real well. He tried to hang with me. I'm not sure where exactly he ended up in that shuffle, but I appreciate him helping me there. And, you know, we just came in when we had to, and, you know, I let Ray make those calls, and he made some great calls. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to stay up there, especially when Dale Jarrett was behind me. He was real strong. And, you know, hate to see him have his troubles, but we were able to keep that thing up front. Those restarts, man, they were making me nervous.
Well, he's not too nervous now. 11 wins this year, 17 consecutive top 5 finishes. What a year.
A remarkable year. 40 career wins and finally one in the month of October. And the celebration and the fireworks begin. Special night as Jeff and Brooke Gordon look on and high fives all around. John Hendrick and the entire Hendrick Motorsports bunch. Now, let's go back to the last lap and take a look again at everything that shook down there. I didn't want to give Chad little short shrift in the problems he had. Let's go back again with Bobby Labonte giving us the view.
go to the outside into turn 3, right by Skinner. Looks like he has a run on Jeff Gordon that he might could close in there at the end.
There's Schrader trying. Again, Bobby Labonte makes the move. Couldn't have been more than a car length of an opportunity there.
That was so tight.
Yeah. Watch Chad now, 3 wide.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little help from behind. It looked like Spencer was there. Don't know how much the impact was, but that was a big impact there.
He whacked it big time, didn't he?
Big time is right.
Watch it again.
Here comes Spencer in the red and white car there. Just a little nudge right there, just enough to send him hard into the inside wall.
You saw Chad climb from the car and walk to the ambulance. Jeff Gordon is in victory lane for the 40th time in his career. Bobby Labonte, he came home in second. Let's hear from him in the garage.
Yeah, it was a great run tonight for Bobby Labonte, Eli, and your last 3 laps may have been your best of the night.
We just had, great air there last time, and Terry was helping me a lot right there at the end. I mean, if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have happened, that's for sure. So, a deal where you hate to see the red flag come out because you're not sure what's going to happen. But for me, it was, I achieved a lot on that last 2 or 3 laps. But, last weekend we went 2nd to 6th on the last lap, and this weekend we went about 6th to 2nd on the last couple laps. So, we just kind of turned around. But Terry helped me more than anything. That's what helped.
That bump drafting really looked neat on television, and it really seemed to give you that little oomph and push you needed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what helped me get by those guys. I mean, we had a run on Ward off of on the restart, and then we had a run on those other 4 cars there, and then they started mixing it up, and so I got the outside of Rusty and 1 and 2 there, and Terry went with me all down the back straightaway. We just had good air because those guys were racing on the inside and 2 wide down there and slowing their cars down, and Jeff was pulling away, and I just had some good air.
Help from his brother. He comes home second tonight. Bobby Labonte starting on the pole. Steve Burns.
And we're with Mike Skinner. Mike, what a great show the fans got tonight.
They always get a good show here in Talladega. Everybody hates restrictor plate racing, and, I'm not a big fan of restrictor plate racing, but what a show. Good gracious, Our car was good at the start. We fell way back. The thing got extremely loose. Got so loose I couldn't drive it. Guys worked hard, and something popped in the rear end leaving the pits on that last deal there, and it kind of fixed itself, and it was pretty awesome there at the end. But Lowe's and MTD and all the vendors on the car has really stuck by this race team, and I really appreciate that. And we're still growing. It's our sophomore year. Can't wait till next year. I can't wait till next week. This thing it's getting to where we're competitive every week, and that's awesome.
And you know something about winning at Phoenix, too.
I know how to get to victory lane there. I've never drove a Winston Cup car into victory lane, but maybe next week will be the first time. This team's really coming. It's really doing good, man. We had to back up and pull out and go around Mark Martin. He had us pinched in on that first pit stop, still come out in the top 10. That's pretty awesome. That's fast tire changing. Those guys are bad, I'm telling you.
All right, good luck. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Steve and Mike. Mike Skinner finishing 3rd here tonight, equaling his career best finish of 3rd that he posted at Watkins Glen in the Bud at the Glen. Back to wrap it up as rain again falls in. Get ready to taste onto the big Sony Jumbotron screens that are positioned around Daytona International. There you see the finishing numbers. Ernie Irvin's car in 8th, Ricky Craven doing himself so very proud here tonight as the sub driver. Andretti, Elliott, Nemechek, and Nadeau hung around to finish in 19. There you see those who had some problems earlier in the day, and those who went to the garage area early in this, the Pepsi 400. Again, the point lead is now 358 points. Jeff Gordon only needs to finish 37th or better in the last 3 races, no matter what Mark Martin does to clinch the championship. What a special night here at Daytona. Yes, there was some grinding going on. There was a whole lot of close action. Sometimes you were riding high, and sometimes the night went flat on you. But when all was said and done, the bright lights and the high speeds equaled another win for Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. A thanks to Buddy Baker, the doctor, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Mike Hogwood, and the entire production crew from TNN Motorsports. Thanks so much for joining us here at the World Center of Racing. We'll see you next weekend from Phoenix as the NASCAR Winston Cup season rolls on. I'm Eli Gold. For all of us at TNN Motorsports, good night from Daytona Beach, Florida.